Well, uh, let's see. Get a bottle from there. I was going to see on the show. Good evening. You guys can hear me up there. Good evening. Good evening, wherever you are. Another edition of the closing argument. Sorry, guys. People come from work to get started. Let me find out you guys hear me loud and clear. Okay. Patrick Kennedy, you hear me loud and clear? Patrick Kennedy, James Kuyata, you hear me loud and clear? Michael Godwin Johnson, are you guys hearing me loud and clear? Just let me know. Okay, the guys are hearing me. Okay. Welcome again to the closing argument. Another edition of the closing argument. Today is Monday, May 13, 2024. We're glad to be back on the closing argument. The other guys will join us later. We got lots of news to share with you guys. A lot of breaking news. A lot of breaking news coming up. Especially as regards the asset recovery team. The news is not good coming from about the asset recovery. It's not good news. There's a lot of things happening there. In fact, I just got off the phone with one of the asset recovery strong, one of the brain behind the asset recovery. We had a long discussion, and it's not a good. The news not good. That whole committee needs to be dissolved by the president, as we said earlier. He dissolve that committee. The President Boga must dissolve that committee. If he's serious with asset recovery, that committee needs to be reconstituted, because the chairman and the co-chair they are doing things that are very illegal. That whole committee is compromised. They are engaging in just unethical stuff. For example, the contracts they gave up. Can you imagine? They gave the billboard contract to the mayor of the city of Monrovia mayor, the guy who's the city mayor, his company. He's the one. They're the one who doing the contract, who did the billboards, and that's conflict of interest. And in fact, they owe the guy, so they have to pay them money. Can you imagine? They committed the team to a tune of thousands of dollars, and in fact, the co-chair of the committee, I have documents on her. We'll publish it tonight. It's business as usual. It's business as usual. And I think what happened is just not fair to the country. And we must we should not allow this to happen. Okay. Okay, I have here. Oh, what's up, man?
Man, I'm well. I'm doing well. Happy Mother's Day, brother. I mean, how was your Mother's Day celebration?
Oh, it was great. Yeah. In fact, you and I, we ended it together yesterday. That was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that beans by the deacon. The deacon cooked that beans, that kidney beans.
Yeah, they got a sponsor place.
I told his wife, I said, told our big sister, Tomalin Blair, I said, your husband can really cook.
Yeah, that thing hit the spot, man.
It hit the spot because after we came from that Mother's Day program, the old timers, and we had to make sure that something was in the stomach, you know.
Yeah, it hit the spot. It hit it.
Yeah,
it was well seasoned and it had everything in it. Oh my goodness!
Look,
everything. So it was great. To other mothers, I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day with your family, your children, your husbands. and all of that, man. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day. We did. I had Julius. Good to see you. So I had a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day, and we had a great celebration. Everybody. So I hope you did. I hope you did. And we are back again. Today is Monday. We are back again, and looking forward for another exciting conversation. Very exciting conversation. Julia, good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too.
Can you hear me, Julia?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Sure,
Yeah,
sure, sure.
yeah.
yeah. Good to be back here, Dr. Peabody and St. Tomalin George. Hope you guys had a wonderful time and celebrated your mothers and other mothers in your family. It's
Yeah,
good to celebrate them for their work. So yeah,
yeah,
good to be back here.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
happy Mother's
wonderful.
Day to all our mothers again, the world over. I want to say thank you for the good work you guys are doing. You do for the raise of family and to give birth to men and women that are leading the world today. Uh, all we can say is that we salute you and continue to pray God for strength and good health and longevity. But guys, a lot's happening. As I said, I've been on this as a recovery on the beat all day. I've been trying it, and I finally managed to get some information. Uh, for instance, the asset recovery team, guys, it's a joke. President Boga needs to immediately, upon his return to the country, uh, reconstitute that team if he's serious about the asset recovery. I had a lengthy discussion with Comrade Martin Colley, and the only reason why he's not in the press now is because the president asked him to wait upon his arrival to the country. But he's very strong behind it. He made it clear with the president that that it needs to change. I'll put Julius, I'll send this thing to you. The co-chair of the asset recovery team.
Uh-huh.
She was accused of property of theft. But now how can you take another role to go look for something? I mean,
Wait. Tomalin, hold on one second.
listen to you quick.
If she was accused of theft of property, right?
You are found guilty, I think. Sure.
Of
Yeah.
it found guilty.
Yeah.
When did this happen?
It happened in 2023.
So it happened 2023.
Yes.
And then this information was available. And I'm hearing you talking about Mr. Martin Colley, who's supposed to be overly sophisticated and invest so much time in research, didn't do due diligence, accepted the position, and now he wants to come back and play what? Like he's a victim here?
No, but I would come to his defense today because for a lot of reasons. Oh yeah, I'll come to
Okay,
defense
yeah, no,
today.
that's fine.
Yes,
Then
because,
let's argue that part out.
yes.
Yeah,
Grace,
that's great.
welcome. You are greatly missed. Everybody was asking about you all since last week. They were asking about you, but you were missed. Good to
Hi
see you.
guys, I was missed.
Yeah, you were missed. You're missed. You're missed.
Mother's Day week. I took a vacation with my
Okay,
girls.
that was good. That was good. Necessary sometimes.
Yeah.
Lofa, you check your box.
Okay.
You're putting the chat.
Messenger or WhatsApp?
Messenger. You're putting it in the chat room too for
Okay.
the other guys to see it.
Okay. Oh Jesus!
So I'm happy to be here. Happy Mother's Day to me.
Happy belated Mother's Day again, Grace.
Yes.
You one of
I'm
those
a
strong
mother.
mothers. Yeah.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day, Grish. Good to see you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Peabody. Thank you, Lofa, for doing it.
I was waiting for everybody to say it because you're not like to be special, right? I want everybody when they're done saying that I say mine too. But anyway, happy belated Mother's Day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Look, a lot of guys, the issue of the asset recovery team. I just got I was about to come on the show. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, somebody gave me stuff. They just told me that the foreign ministers, they hire a lot of consultants there already. For instance, if you're an assistant minister, they got consultant for that job. If you're a deputy minister, they got consultant for that job. And all these things, we need to dig deeper and find out what's going on there, because they said that it's a complete. Now the people at the ministry are the ones who are now coming up to talk, coming to people. And I told you guys, I said, look, just wait. News will come to you. They'll bring news to you guys. Bring news to us. Yeah. And one thing I like about our platform, we don't run behind people to come on our platform. We don't run behind people. Now they're coming up to us now. They're telling us that look, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, there are issues there that we concerned with, and a lot of things happening, and we're not happy about that. The same thing with this asset recovery. The guy that calls Sam Steve Queer, they said he put a lot of people on this committee that they have no idea what they call asset recovery. They have no idea what the job entails, and he put them there. And that they're faced with the problem they are faced with now. It's a serious thing going on right now. In fact, it's clear that like I was saying, Martin has threatened that if the president do not address this issue upon his return, especially the removal of the chair and the co-chair, he will definitely be resigning, coming from that committee. And because Lofa, you can't blame him now. He wasn't the one who started the committee though. But when they appointed these people, he started to check, make sure everybody on the same page, and got to realize that some of the people have some issues behind them. So now you start to raise the issue. You're not just saying it yet. You're not just saying it because you want to say it. Now, at least for the fact that he came here early to speak up, that is something that we should understand. You know, I mean, you can have to play the politics later on, but on the reality, if somebody do a job, bring something to the forefront, let's work within that. But anyway, guys, this is what will happen. Guys, we can get started.
Are you so Tomalin, you're done? Let me I'll let Grace to go first before I even give my position on that whole coming out thing and discussing it, because I'll let Grace to go first, and then I will jump in on that. Martin Cully and his pretense. Let's just say it that way. I'll start off that way. Go ahead, Grace.
Concerning the foreign ministry, we all are hearing news that the foreign ministry is just actually like the people there don't know what they are doing at all. I'm just surprised that when positions are given out, why are these people having consultants? Are they not? They don't know what they're doing. Because I don't understand, if you have the experience and you have the education and also they give you a job training on the position, telling you exactly how you're supposed to execute a job according to their policy in that particular ministry. How in the world then they still need consultants this early day in the position because Joseph Walker just took over? So it means that this is a waste of the country resources when it comes to that. And that's the reason why I sat on this platform and I said that I did not think that the foreign minister was well in the capacity to have been appointed foreign minister of Liberia. For you to be a foreign minister of a country, you have to bring a lot of things to the table, not only because you work in a certain position with a certain international body, but you have to know exactly what you're doing, because relevant experience is different from irrelevant experience. You have to have a relevant experience to that particular job that you are appointed a head, not just a regular person, but just to be the head of that ministry. You have to know exactly what you're doing. You have to also have international contacts, in that particular line of work, not just because you held a position, maybe with a high-end organization means that you can do the job. And that's why Liberian are always fooled, because once they hear that certain people work in certain places and maybe they were there for a amount of years, they say, oh, this person working this place, but doesn't give them the ability or experience to do that particular work. And that's why Liberia will suffer. We will have another empty 6 years. Because for me, I say that because I expected that with all the criticism that they gave Georgia, I expected this government to come in, hit the ground running, with people already know exactly what they're doing. Joseph Boakai came to America. He has not met anybody in high-ranking government officials in this country because the contact is not there. And they don't know the people to be able to step in that place. And as foreign minister is supposed to be one of the people that even align him with certain people because of that contact and that relationship to be able to meet these high-end government officials in these different international countries. But because of the lack of I don't it hurts so bad that most of the Liberian people jump on a certain side within the elections and within the campaign because they saw that side have more people, but they did not realize that joining a side because it have more people does not take Liberia anywhere. It's winning or action or winning will all doing anything substantial to help the nation is not winning. You win at the end of the day, right in the beginning, the people start to fail, mean that you fail. You see what I'm saying? So by you winning on a winning team, it's so sad to know that the mindset with all the education the people have, the mindset of how they think, their mindset is so poor when it comes to these things, and because of that, it's bringing our country backwards and backwards. And I'm so sorry that we have not seen nothing yet, or that this government lay down and say, you know what? Just what in Ocean City with my sisters, like one women, we went to do a Mother's Day program. And we went there for 3 nights and 3 days. We're just driving the city, doing the boardwalk. And everywhere we passed, one of my or two of my Lawani sisters would say, oh my God, just hope they play with just in Liberia. Oh my God, look at this place. We just had this street in Liberia. But how can we have those things in Liberia when the people in leadership do not have the mind to do that? They only come in leadership to take for they and their family, or to reap for only themselves. And they don't think about the people, they don't think about the future, and they don't think about none of that. So, and they don't even think about their own future. When I retire, would I like to live in such a situation where there are no rules? No go, no, latrine in the different areas for the people, just in case you jam, you can get for your car and go and use the restroom. You enter a clean place. All those things, they don't think, what businesses are we putting here? I was even seeing a building. I said, okay, the building, we just had 3 or 8 on Broad Street, the mean city, so like Broad can have a facelift and all those things. So until Liberians can realize that voting, when it comes to voting, you don't put sentiments inside. You have to think about your future when it comes to election in Liberia before you put anybody in that position. We will continue to lack and we'll continue to lack. And the poor people in Liberia who are listening to the people here in the States, they will feel themselves because they will put these people in that will do nothing for them. For us here in America, we're already living. We will see everything we want to see. Most of us already travel a lot. We are seeing everywhere. So it just, right now, we come on the platform to just talk for our people to open their eyes that you keep on failing your children. Now it's not about us anymore because most of us on the platform 60 years from now will not be here, to tell you the truth. 60 years from now will not be here. So we're talking about the children that are coming up and what legacy are we leaving for our kids and what can they enjoy and say our parents they fought for this and this is what we are enjoying. How America, people say the land of the free, how they fought, their forefathers fought. We're gonna be forefathers in 80 years from now. What have we fought for? Thank you.
Hey, Peabody, what you got to say?
Well, this, I don't know, but this was expected. Uh, we expected this. Uh, Again, we keep we keep doing the same thing. Nothing should surprise us. If you have a very hungry group of people who couldn't even afford certain things take over, what do you expect? This was expected. Civil servant and her haven't even been paid. The president have not even signed the budget yet. He's on another trip to the U.S. Civil servant have been taking pay for the last 3 or 4 months, and people have family and children to support. It's just the same 6 and 9. Until we learn how to really vote for things that will bring people that will bring change to our country, we'll be in it for a long time. Like Grace said, in the next 20 years from now, some will be very old. Will be old. You know, I mean, once you hit that 50 and moving on, you're getting old. And the young people don't even know better to even know to vote for somebody who will bring change to the country. So I mean, it's a rough start for President Barker. I think it's a bad start too for him. We see him violating the Constitution, the Supreme Court now. They all jump right on it. They're right behind the president. They want to work with the president. They want to make sure that it supports his agenda. The Supreme Court, that should be a separate body. You don't even have nowhere to go, because we saw what happened with the LTA case. Less than 20 hours, the government were already finished changing the people and reappointing the same people and doing things. It's like everybody going. And this guy who's there, the current chairman, I've done business with LPRC before. He owns a telecommunication business and stuff like that. And he did business with LTA. And that's the same man who was rushing going because he needed to get the job. So it's sad, but I didn't expect anything better. I did expect another group to go in, and it was at that time to chop and go in and start chopping. We see lavish parties around town, lavish parties in Atlanta, Georgia, and even in Liberia. There are lavish parties going on. Well, that's their time, so they got to enjoy their time. The party, Liberia, the party meat. Everybody come there and cut a piece of it.
Okay, guys, let us discuss first. Let's discuss the asset recovery team. Then we go to the president's trip, and maybe another thing again. We continue with another topic, but the asset recovery team, guys. Let's spend some time on it, then we'll move to the next topic so we see where we are going tonight. But guys, I will get a kickoff, and you're aware that the asset recovery team I was just told that is practically non-existent. They're not even doing anything. They decided to take I think a budget was $750,000. They spent almost 300 and some thousand on office space and to repair office, and they were done unilaterally by the chairman and the co-chair, Councilor Martin, and his co-chair. They did it with all the input of the other members of the committee of the team, and they spent I think four billboards at $9,000 each, and that company that did the billboards, the city mayor of Monrovia, the company, and it was done through the co-chair. She's already been she was accused of property theft. She was I was told that they're involved in corruption, and even the chairman of this committee, the U.S. government have a problem with him. I'm also informed, have a serious problem. But I don't know how the president, in his own wisdom, would have appointed the chairman and this lady on this committee with all of these things behind them. And now it is coming to light. Members of the committee, I think I just Gongwe. I think he said he been busy with party officials. That's why you're not able to reach to me quickly. But he already resigned, and Martin Colley is already written a document on it, taking the chairman to tax for the spending of the money that was allocated for them. How can you spend almost the entire budget for office space and other stuff? And it's related to who is involved in corrupt activities. There's the stuff there, and the president, one who advised the president what he was doing.
What's her name though?
Lofa, you from that list actually.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Here you go.
You're from
let
list.
me zoom in here. It says, where is her name? Her name is placed somewhere here. The plaintiff or
her company, but you can find me that list, the asset recovery list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can go get it for you real quick.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
All
yes.
right.
And then with all of these things happening, you take, first of all, there are other people who struggling that can do billboards, but you give it to somebody who's already in the government, who connected to the co-chair, you give them that contract, and then there are people who really can do billboards, but not part of the government, everything could have also been used them to bring them on board. So it's okay, we invest into your company, but instead he took the city mayor company, and just how he got a job. When the election ended, he started to clean the streets. He and my sister Jackie started cleaning the place. The next thing they found out, they gave him this job. So now the same thing happened again with this billboard again. They already spent almost $400,000 of the money allocated for the committee How would they do the work? So right now, it's serious. The guys are saying that the president returned to the country, as he be returning on the 15th. He has to remove these two people from the job. They cannot work with them. They have issues with them. They have credibility issues. When I reached out to the chairman today, yeah, what he told me, Martin, Councilor Martin, he was adamant. He said, I should dig deeper first. When you have evidence of whether I have ever received a dime, then you revert to me. By law, misappropriation is misapplying money for intended purpose. But how can one misapply money he has not received? Mere propaganda. Well, I told him, I said, well, you have opportunity to come and clear yourself, but if you refuse, it's up to you. But I spoke to Martin, and Martin is not happy. I'm telling you, and he prepared to step down. The president told him to exercise restraint that he returned to the country. That's the reason why he's not in the press yet. But he said, I'm gonna quote him that the two people are corrupt. They cannot work with them. But guys, what are your thoughts, man? You guys weigh in on it?
So, Tomalin, let me first of all start off with, and I'll get back to trying to obtain the asset recovery list so that way we can kind of share with the people.
Yeah.
I think it's only fair that they are, reminded of the name of this lady we are talking about, not to just reference her based on her position, but instead to actually state her name as well, like Grace just asked about. But the issue of the asset recovery and people are now objecting to some of the misconducts. I never at any point in time expected anything from this entire group. And the reason may be is probably because of my experience and my exposure, the opportunity to have worked in corporate America and have worked with institutions and agencies with government agency. It gives you that needed exposure to understand why it is important that prior to making such critical decision, one must conduct background check. Okay. If the president decided in his level mind that he was appointing these individuals to serve in this capacity, remember, asset recovery is not for mere bluff. These are people who are probably going after alleged perpetrators of, some kind of stealing. Let's just say that in the low man term. All right. And you did not do due diligence. You jumped and celebrated the decision when there were information in the public about this particular individual, the chairman of this entire committee. He had experience with the previous government. I think they had an encounter. You didn't take all of those things into consideration, and that's why I'm saying to you today, the reason why the Gonquer and the Martin colleagues are now being vocal about this is because they might have been sidelined. Would they have been out here disclosing to the public had they gotten their fair share of that 700,000 or whatever amount that may have been wasted on properties that they feel like is not of much importance? No, definitely not. I challenge the both of them. The Emmanuel Gonquer man who you talk about, he actually was appointed to another position at the port. And he still accepted the second position because he wanted to use this again as an opportunity to have extra hands. So these young people should not come out here and play on the minds of innocent Liberians and pretend as though they are about transparency. You know how many other things have happened in government, and these young people who claim to be activists and advocates are yet to speak about it? Did you hear Martin Colley, who is now complaining and crying, asking President Boykai to disclose his assets declaration to the public when he promised that he would do that during the elections? Did you hear him? How vocal has he been about those government officials who have refused to be transparent in their acts? Have you heard him mention any of these things? No, because it is not well suited with them. So now you want to come out and behave as though you're a man of transparency. No, you're not. You're not transparent, because if you were transparent, maybe you would have done your part to make sure from the get-go, when the likes of Amara Connor and other people who should have declared and published their assets refused, maybe you would have joined others to shame them publicly and say, I did not join this rescue mission because I wanted to be considered for job opportunity. How could you sit there and notice, as an educated or self-proclaimed educated person, how is it that you sat there and knew that the LSCC is well suited to carry on the task that you're handing over to you and your colleagues? You didn't complain about that, Tomalin. You accepted the job. You started to run with it. Now, when this brother come out, what do we say if the chairman comes out and say, you know what? Hey, it's not true. Like he's already started to do. Nobody gave me a dime, and nobody can justify this allegation. What are you going to say? Are we going to go back and say, oh, it's all gossip? So until these people are able to provide substantial evidence to their claims, I'm taking all of these things for a joke. I never expected anything out of this entire asset recovery thing, and there will be nothing out of them. The only way we will get back what we deserve in Liberia is when we have an independent body carrying on the issue of assets recovery, and let it be done with some level of integrity. Let it be done with respect to those who are being engaged. You can't sit and run propaganda with the whole issue of asset recovery and then come back the next day and want to complain and expect someone else to sympathize with you. No.
Let me just say this. To be honest, for the record, Martin Colley, he did come in. He did ask the president to make his asset declaration public, but he did have an issue with that, and he raised several issues too. But like he said, he's just waiting until the issues are addressed. He will come to the public. But he did. I come in, Lofa. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'll be fair with him. He did inform me that yes, he have asked the president to make public his asset that he declared. Okay, there are some things when you're part of an institution or some organization, you started in-house first. If you cannot find you're not being your request is not being adhered to, you go public. And so I think he's been raising these issues. Well, he had this agreement with them on that issue. So he said by the appropriate time he will come to the public. But right now, he was told to exercise restraint to the president return. So by the issue as a declaration, make it public, he did raise the issue with the president. Yeah.
Okay, he raised the issue with the president, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The issue was never raised to the public for a man who served as an activist, all right, and an advocate for transparency. This is not an issue of let's talk it in the back. This is why Liberia is to where she is today, because we have always handled things based on family matter. The man is a pastor. Don't embarrass the man, even though the man raped a little girl. Then you want to discuss it, excuse me for using that analogy, but you want to discuss it as a family matter. Okay, this person do something wrong, you want to talk it in-house. That's not what it is. If you are a man of transparency, let people be brought to public ridicule based on your moral beliefs. Let us not be because, oh, okay, now I'm a part of this team. That is the reason why seditionists were afraid to call on President Weah to disclose his assets. These are some of the things we're talking about. If he did it, I didn't see it. So what do you expect me to say? Oh, yeah, he did it, but he did it behind closed door? Until that information is provided for me to see that he did, the same way he was very much vocal about the foreign minister right now, where he wrote almost every day. He wrote almost every day about her appointment. How is it that he couldn't do the same thing? We saw post after post after post after post every day to make sure that he was validating his point. Why is it that he couldn't do the same thing? Oh, now because it was in his camp, so now he had to go quiet and wait until it all burst in his face. Then you want us to say, yeah, well, he was doing it, but he did it behind closed door. Nah, Tomalin, let's not do that to Liberia. Liberia deserves better. If we stand for something, let's stand for something continuously. It should not be partial.
And he even stood for something when he was hired with the asset recovery team. He was going to really refuse that job.
Thank you.
You know, some people, the people, especially us as a group of people, we always advocacy is a work that you cannot be. You have to decide that this is what I want to do, because when wrong is wrong, you have to call it, or whether you within the group or not. And knowing that LSCC existed or is existing, why is this president even trying to create a whole asset recovery team to take away from the Liberian economy? Because that money that you put in there for them to be paid and fix offices and do all the things that they're doing and buy chairs and stuff like that, furniture for the office, it takes away from the economy of the country. It takes away from a lot of other people, the citizens of Liberia. So if you have integrity and you are bona fide advocate, you know, why would you even accept a position like that? Since you here telling that you're fighting for the people and you're fighting for Liberia to be free, why would you want to even accept that kind of position, knowing that they already have a position or people or group of people in place to do that job? You see, and that's the thing we know that these people, when they are supporting a certain group of people, it's all because of job. They will come in and say, oh no, you know, it's not because of job. At the end of the day, it's because where you put me, where can I be? You know, although we know that other people can still fight for a cause and be put in the position and also work because they have the expertise and they have the knowledge for that position, they can do the job. But we also know that majority of these people, when they stand behind a certain political leader, is because what is in it for me, and that's just the truth. So I'm not surprised, I'm not moved. I don't know why they're waiting for Joseph Waka to come to Liberia. Somebody, you know, the last time we on the show, the people call and say, oh, the lady was talking about Joseph Waka. Joseph Waka, I will call his name. I'm not putting president on his name. I am sorry. He's not my president. I'm not going to put president to his name. I live in the States. Liberia is my home. The president that I think will make a difference in Liberia, I will put president to the name. I have the right. That's my right. I can say president. I can also say Joseph Waka. So Joseph Waka do not have to come to Liberia for things to be done. So if the president travel and he's doing other things and these things happen, what are the next step in it? And that's the reason why, as a president, when you take over a country, I feel personally, you have to have a human resources employment system going on right away for things like these, that people can make informed decisions when it comes to these things. And the people can also interrogate people, when I mean interrogate in a way for employment, make sure they check that they do their background check, as Lofa Julius is saying, and everything before you put these people in position. You cannot put these people in high position and then later on they found out that they were even accused of theft and maybe they were even found guilty or something like that. It's a shame for those things to be happening. You have to do proper vetting and proper background, you know, checking and everything for these people to get in these positions. So I always say that in Liberia, they're supposed to have like HR, human resources, employment relations system just for all these things to take away that brain. The president cannot be hiring and they see that after they confirm, but then he firing. He alone cannot do anything. And then the focus is on the president of Liberia take everything initiated too much. And that's the one that is killing our system. But anything about investigation, I would not even think that they will do it, because they're here for the inauguration. A whole lot of money got missing. You hear anything since that time? Fine. We hear nothing, because the woman who was accused is the friend to the president's wife. So it's a family thing. It's not nothing going to happen when it comes to this. We will just expose these things for the Liberian people to hear it for themselves, and we wish that they can do better. And I wish that we can get the woman name that is responsible for the kind of things that are going on, so we can announce these names for our people to know these people. Because at the end of the day, nothing will probably be done with this whole thing. It's just going to go under the bridge again, be swept under the rug, because Joseph Boakai government is a family government. This man came in and he hired his friends and their children and also all his neighbors and the people that he promised when he was in 7th grade, that will fight the day I become president, that will hire you, I will put you in a position. So what are you shaking and you can't even stand up anymore? You will still put you in a position because it was a promise. This is not about changing Liberia to be a better place, but it's about, you know, what is in it for us and what can we get in it. You know, they don't care about the regular people of the country, the regular citizens. They don't care, but then it's all about them having what they want to have for they and their children. And Liberia will never be a better place like that. And you will not enjoy this kind of thing because if the country cannot be fixed, I don't care, you can go pay your mansion. The road leading to your mansion will spoil your car. It doesn't benefit you either way. There will come a time you will not even have money to maintain that car, so you will end up suffering like the rest of the people. So you use your brains and do the right thing for the country so the country can be okay. You know, do the road connectivity, you roads. You run your campaign, all the things, let it happen. You know, and prosecute people because nobody one day like are going to jail for corruption. Every time we hear the person did, have you ever seen anybody going to jail for corruption in the people government? No. We want to see them beating the poor people who go steal small bread to eat, or they stole someone and shot the program because they were hungry, that the people they will execute and beat to death. But when it comes to government officials, we have not seen one person going to jail in our country for corruption and stay in that person and say, you know what, that person went to jail for corruption. Never. We got yet to see. So
yeah. The lady, the co-chair name is Mama Robertson. Yeah, she's the one. Mama Robertson is the co-chair.
So here's the list. You want me to read out the list, Tomalin?
Yeah, read the list, the name of the list.
Okay. So we have first on the list is Councilor Edwin Clapp Martin, Chairman, Miss Maimon Robertson, Vice Chair. Okay. Mr. Alexander Coffey, Member, Special Advisor. I heard this dude is also terribly corrupt. The Coffee person here. I heard though. Mr. Martin Colley, Member, Good Governance Activist. Listen to his position. Joking. Mr. Ahmed Dempster, Member, Honorable Emmanuel Gonkwe, Member, Advocate. Dr. Rennie B. Jackson, Member, Public Policy Expert. Miss Angel Andrews, Member, Youth Representatives. Miss Victoria Mosiman, Member, Business Community. Mr. George Moore, Member, Security. John Moba Blee, Member, Security. Mr. Trocon Martin Allen, Member, Private Sector. Representative, General Service Agency. Representative, Liberia National Police. Representative, Ministry of Justice. And then the Ministry of State without portfolio, special, blah, 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 blah. That's the rest of it. But yeah, those are the name of the commissioners, I believe, and members of the asset recovery team.
Yes, but again, I'll say this though. I know people when you're on these talk shows, you take your political hat sometimes. I know that many people will say that Martin pissed them off, other people pissed them off. Election was on, they were fighting for the side. He spelled out some things, but honestly, most of the things he put up, people are yet to come and you can come and refute it. But an issue about he raising this issue now earlier about this committee, I think it's the appropriate time. He waiting to say they will go deep into it, but so I think I commend him for raising the issue about the money that allocated to this asset team and the way it's being used. Okay, he raising the issue now, is exposing it, and when you are professionals here. When you have an internal issue, you write. Like he said, he didn't know how that letter his communication was made to the public, but he communicated to the president. The president told him that I'm out of the country. When I get back to the country, we'll discuss it because he threatened to resign. He won't leave the committee, and he maintained that if these two people in question, if they are not removed, he'll definitely be stepping aside. And mind you, I also found out that now don't forget, during presidents we are turned. I think the former Solicitor General, and he was part of that asset recovery team. But now, this president, chairman of the asset recovery team, and the former Solicitor General, Councilor Cephas, they have a law firm. So tell me now. So you see, what will happen? You got to find all of that. These are things that you are fond of. Okay, if you're trying to go after people, then they are moving together, and you have to ask some questions. So again, I say again, for the fact that he has the courage, he must have the courage to come out and say, look, Mr. President, we're concerned about these things that are happening. These two people, this lady, Mama Robertson, she was involved in corruption. She was in court for theft. And how can she be co-chair? Then the issue about the contract they gave to the guy, the city mayor company, to do the billboards. $9,000, I think they did 4 of the billboards, 4 or 5, and at the cost of $9,000. I mean, that's something and they did it with no with all the input of the rest of the team members. Okay, and lastly, before Alice Jones and Peabody and coming, most of the committee members they were appointed by the minister, still one of the ministers still up portfolio, Sam Kuya, and most of the people didn't know what they're there for. They didn't know the term of reference, they didn't know what they're there for. They didn't understand nothing about what this job entails, and they were put there. And now they're having problems right now. So guys, let us really attack the issue, and see what we can get with this. But Peabody and Alice Jones, you guys can weigh in.
Alex, but look, man.
Yeah,
Welcome,
Let Alex
Alex.
come in, and then I'll talk later. Alex, come in.
yeah, guys. Thanks again for having me on the show. I mean, again, I would say there's no surprises here. There's none. Embrace yourself. I think I told Timothy earlier, I was just looking at the numbers for broadcast so far, and they're performing worse than the we administration. I was just looking at the recent number because in economics, every 3 months they do the math and they publish our number. And this number is coming from the government and the IMF and everybody else. The full inflation in Liberia is going up to 26%. So if you bought something last month, $1, you're paying now 126 every month. It's going up. So all these other issues that we're talking about, the assets recovery, the roles, it all leads back to, like Grace was saying, the choices Liberian people made. Okay, you hire a man who has never demonstrated any kind of leadership. He's failed in every position he's ever held, no accountability. There's nothing Burger has written or even a press conference. Okay, even a press conference, Burger has not sat down to say, let me go, you're the journalist in Liberia, ask me any questions, like any president would do. Joe Biden does press conferences. Every president in the world to tell the Liberian people how the economy is doing, what are his plans, how his programs are going. So looking at the numbers, the country is in worse shape than it was 3 months ago. We got something they call current account deficit, which is the import between how much you pay to import things in, as opposed to all your money and your resources, how much you export. Let me give you an example. On a WIA, that number was positive, 12 million. For the first time in Liberian history, because I track these things, Liberia had a positive current account, meaning we're exporting more. Yeah, it may not be finished products or cars or goods, but our total export was, when you add the number up, was $12 million more than what we're importing. Today is 83 million so far. So there's $83 million extra. Now we have to pay in interest. That's going to affect the currency. That's going to affect the economy, the growth in GDP. It was the growth was 4%. Currently it's 4.8%. Currently it's 4.7%. The unemployment in the informal sector, 3%, now it's 2.9%. Literally no change. The inflation in Liberia today is 10.8%. On a we have 10%. The balance of trade, see, like I was saying with the current account, how much we import, all the cars you see the buying for minister, all that kind of stuff. Now it's $262 million compared to $171 million. Okay. Every indicator that you look at to say the country is improving, when we try to make our critique of the government, the people say, oh, wait, that work out 4 years, 5 years, 1 year, 90 days. It really doesn't matter. It's like you send your child to school, right? There are 4 periods. If your child comes with a report card in the first 3 months of average of 40% or 30%, you literally know that your child is not doing well. And it's not going to do well. So we're not saying that in 3 months' time, you're supposed to fix all these numbers, you're supposed to provide jobs. What we're saying here is that there is no conceivable way that a country things are going to improve for the Liberian people so far. There's no number that the government can pull out and say, oh, we're doing better. Look at the social problem. Look at the drug problem. Okay, we're not even quantifying that. Today, there are more people in Liberia now involving worse drugs. Okay, we saw the fire situation. We see the employment situation has gone down. So literally, I want to know what people are banking on. Okay, what are they banking on to believe that this government will improve? There's some of the projection. Okay, in the same budget, they project, okay, what the growth will be over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Okay. The GDP in 2021 was 5%, 2022, 4.8%, 2023, 4.6%. They're saying it will be 5.3%, which is literally nothing. 2026, they say 6.4%, up to 2027, 6.4%, which is just the number that they're expecting. Even if Liberia grew at 10%, 10%, let's say we just say Liberia will grow 10%, it will be catastrophic economically for many families. So what are we depending on here for the next 5 years or 4 years to suggest that things will improve? Are we, delusional? Like you say, you're not even talking about fighting corruption. You're not even talking about competency. We saw the road project, which was another waste of money and a disaster. The money you're spending just to maintain the road, you could have opened a company. You could have put that money into a Liberian company, buy equipment, and use the equipment to use that company to hire Liberians. It will create jobs, and you won't have to be paying these corrupt contractors millions of dollars every year. We spend about $200 something million on roads every year. $22 million, you can open an airline like Liberia, domestic airline, or even a regional airline like Liberia with $22 million. So what the people are doing, they're just taking that the money for the country and they are just wasting it. They have no idea what they're doing. They came out and said, oh, we know better. We have both qualified people. The Minister of Public Works was here. He couldn't even answer a basic, simple question of what kind of analysis do you do before you fix a road? You just get out in the morning and say, I'm going to fix the road in Tapata. You don't conduct any research. You don't do any analysis. Like somebody in high school, basically. And you say you got an economic degree and you say you got a business degree. That's the kind of people that are running Liberia today. The men were right here. You're hurrying. Ask the question, Larry, ask the question. Where in the world, even in your household, before you cook, you determine how many people are going to eat, right, Grace? You determine at the end of the month, you determine, okay, I'm going to cook this soup today because there are 4 people here, there are 5 people here. I'm going to cook 2 cups of rice. You don't just get out there, cook, close your eye, just dip in the rice and say, oh, we're cooking it. You're going to waste it.
You're going to waste it. But you know what, LSD, so, the kids, they're not wasting it. It's all about pocketing. It's strategic. Yes. They're not wasting it. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
So guys,
stop there, but the numbers look bad.
Yeah.
Alex. We're concluding on the asset recovery team. Let's conclude on the asset recovery, then we can make
right.
So Peabody, you got anything to say on it before we move forward?
Man, I knew it would have been a failure from day one because the first thing, they were so anxious to wish hunt people. They want to buy and start seizing cars without even having the legal right to do it. They went about just saw people car and took it, and they didn't know what arrangement was made. They requested a huge sum of money. They wanted almost $1.something million to deal with the asset recovery. There was nothing in plan. I don't think anything is wrong with asset recovery, but you must be able to establish how the person got it or how the person did it. You had nothing like that. You had no clue. You want to saw a car and said this car was government car, and you wanted to seize it, and for people, it was all about grandstanding. So people could say, well, these guys are working and these guys are doing their best. we saw that same thing with the drug agency, and that's why you see the two leaders when they were going back and forth at each other. The director, the deputy director general. I understand they were arresting people and then freeing them in the evening just to grandstand and show that they were, you know, yeah. So uh, 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 nothing was put in place. They didn't plan it. As I said, I think the idea of recurring government asset was great, but they did not plan it. They had no clue of what they were doing. They just wanted to grandstand, and that's how we see even with the drug agency, not NDEA or LDA or what they called it. They were arresting people just to show, oh, we're doing our work, and then freeing them later, and nothing become of it, and stuff like that. So I mean, like Ellie said, from day one, he's already failed the first 90 days. We saw some of the things. We can list some of the things that he done. He violated the Supreme Court. They won. They say, hey, you appointed folks illegally to this to LTA. Remove them and reinstate those people. What did he do? He went right back, removed those people. When they went back to the same Supreme Court who made the decision, they said, oh no, we won't be bothered. It contradicting the rule, their own law. They contradicted their own law and stuff like that. So what we're seeing here, what the song says, starting all over, is going to be, I don't want to use the word, but what we're seeing now, starting all over, is going to be S. That's all I can say.
Well, as we stand today, this asset recovery, the whole thing is at a standstill. They are having internal issues there now, and they are calling on the president to either remove the chairman and the co-chair. With the so right now, let's see what happened. The boys in President's boycott court. They are raising salient, legitimate issue. You allocated $750,000, not even in the budget though. Yeah, allocated the money. I don't know where they found that money from. They allocated $750,000, and already got spent. In fact, there was suggestion was even made that they should take care of one of these buildings, one of the buildings one of the government buildings to use it, but because just to save funds. But then they said no, one building. So he spent $300 and some more $1,000 on repairing business, getting a business.
So Timothy, let us try to be
Uh,
balanced here and say allegedly. It is alleged.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah,
sure it's right. It is alleged because this
it's
is coming
alleged.
from. Thank you.
It's alleged, okay, but at the same time too, we see documents of floating around, so we will continue to let him come and that's why it's important. Lofa, you see, one of the problems that we face is that if I'm accused of something and people reach out to me, it's my duty to come and to be heard. But if you refuse, people start making assumptions and everything, then who you blame? And we see communications there. Right. Honestly, I reached out to the chairman. And I just read what he said to me. When I reached out to him. So now his members are calling on the president to remove him and his co-chair. The co-chair, you know, as you saw the documents, he's involved in theft of property.
Right.
And then they gave a contract to the city mayor's company. It's the city mayor company to fix billboards and whatever the case. Now they're at a standstill, and now they're not going to go anywhere. So, guys, just my only thing, I wouldn't yell President Boga would do when he arrived in the country, whether he would reconstitute the committee or he will remove the chairman or the co-chair or investigate. We'll find out what happened in the next few days. But
so, Tomalin, if you allow me, give me 30 seconds to just say this, right? And I hope your hope is not high. If it is, let me be honest with you, grab a bottle of cold water and bring it back down because nothing will be done about this thing. Martin Cully can take his bag and walk away. Emmanuel Goncourt can take his bag, walk away. They can resign. Honorable Boycott would do nothing about this. Those in position will retain their position because Honorable Boycott himself don't even believe in the idea of asset recovery. And at the end of the day, this will all die down and not a darn thing will be done about asset recovery. Take it from me. And I'm just being upfront, honest with you. Considering his governing style, nothing will be done about it. This individual, Councilor, whatever his name is, will stay in that position. And the rest of those who are being alleged of corruption or thievery, they will stay in that position, in those positions, and nothing will happen about it. I can just assure you that going forward, you will only talk about this upon the return of the president from his trip. He will say nothing about it, or he probably may just gloss over it, and then we'll go right back to where we started. And those guys will stay in. The Martin and other people may decide to resign, and that'll be it. The rest of them will just continue just as business as usual, and we will continue from where we started. Nothing's going to come out of it. You can bet on this. You can take me to tax on this, but this is where we are. Nothing's going to come out of it. It will be right where we are.
Toga, what to see? Welcome, Toga. You want to weigh in before we move on?
Yes, thank you. I'm glad to be on the show. It's actually raining cats and dogs here in Monrovia, so if for any reason you're not getting me clearer, please let me know.
Oh, you're loud and clear.
Yes, but it's really raining here.
And hear the sound, yeah.
But I think I heard Lofa talk about the asset recovery, so I guess you spinning on that. I think from the very beginning, the asset recovery was on a road to failure. The first thing from the way the appointment was done, the fact that you took a group of people who were just overzealous, have just come from the political campaign. All they just wanted to do was just to pounce on people. They did not put into play a roadmap. They did not put into place some policies and programs and how they could do all this tracking. It's very easy, especially with the issue of logistics of vehicle or stuff. You know, you have a system from the GSA, for example, that you could just follow, and you will know whether or not John Brown has got a computer from the government that he's keeping somewhere, or he got a car from the government that he's keeping somewhere. It was easy to track through the GSA. In fact, it's my understanding that the GSA has a subdivision or department in almost every government ministry and agency. So these people have a full, layout of the different materials and logistics that government got. But the first thing people started doing was to stay in the street and just embarrass people. And some people who did not even want embarrassment didn't even want to get in the street, because people just stay on the street, put a roadblock, and if you're passing, they asking you how you got a car. When you bought a car, the car seems to be for the government. Who wants to go through such embarrassment? Or because government were buying maybe jack pickup or raffle, and you were just packing them. So the whole system was faulty from the very beginning. And that's what was happening. It was very embarrassing that people were just standing in the streets of Moria and say they're tracking Anka. What was big about even going to the GSA? Look, GSA on your watch for the last 6 years, how many vehicles were bought? How many computers were bought? How many debts were bought? Who did you assign these things with? That's the way to begin. And you're able to track it. If you ask John Brown, the record we have before us is that you had a jack pickup, but we're not seeing that jack pickup now turn over to the new government. Then you have an issue. But why? Because I own a car in Montreal that looks like a government car, you must stop me in the street and embarrass me. And somebody who just watching, and you get cameramen. You know, everything everybody is doing now in the country, it must be on camera, right? So you got 3-4 journalists holding a camera on you, and they asking you. Then somebody on the street, they say, that Biera, they got a people car. It was too embarrassing the way they started this entire process. So I, for one, knew they were hailing for failure. It was a whole vindicated stuff. I know everybody had heard about this whole gracious ra and all that kind of stuff from the very beginning. And everybody knew it's owned by Fina Bono and all of that. Now, the system was not put in place. Immediately, everybody been talking about, the cars are owned by Fina Bono, this, that. The first thing, let's pack all the cars in Montreal. Come on. All those cars put together probably may not even pay $40,000 or $50,000. Because the higher for some of those cars would be around $3,000. Now, if somebody is earning between $5,000 to $6,000 a month, and you put it over a 6-year period, that person can even be convincing and say, yeah, what I earned in the last 6 years, maybe it's over $150,000 or $200,000. I can still buy it. So the thing is, the way, and you're requesting too much money. You say you wanted 1.9 million. You can't get 1.9 million to be running after $500 or $1,000. The country gave you like $1.9 billion. You should be serious about how you fight these viruses and these situations. But the way the guys were moving about is a problem. Now, another thing, take for example, our own friend Martin, for example, under our laws, the president must commission you so you can start work after your nomination process, especially those who supposed to go for confirmation. They nominate you, go for confirmation, you get appointed, and then you get commissioned to do it. You said abroad. I understand all the corruption part in racing with Clamartin, for example, Councillor Clamartin. But they too have an issue. They too have an issue, and they're not talking about their issue. Say, for example, you said abroad. You're supposed to be commissioned by the president. When you are commissioned, then you become legal to do the work. You said abroad. Okay, initially you said the CDC's government was very chaotic. Yeah, you said, you know, risky to be. We understand. Even over 3, 4, 5 months in the election ended, you can't come home. You still sitting abroad, and you want the government to be transferring money to you abroad. It's unfair. The issue of even my own friend from the EFF, this guy works for the port. He's one of the directors currently at the port. It's double dipping to be taking money from the port and taking money from the from the asset recovery. So you got your issue. Now some money enters the system, and how that money can be shared across the pool, everybody complaining now. Oh, you not say my own share, bro. Why in you? Oh, you not give my own. And that's where the North is. That's where the North is about money. But nobody's going to tell what the real North is. Over 600,000 to 700,000 were passed by the legislature. I know the legislature actually honored that budget. And it was because of some of the earlier statements they made. Oh, we're coming for the lawmakers. Okay, even if the lawmaker will come for you. So I think all those ones put some fear in the lawmaker. They reduced the budget drastically for the asset recovery, by more than 60-70%. Now, the small money that is there, the first set of money that was sent to them over $312,000. Now, somebody is running with that money and wants to use it at their discretion with all the involvement of everybody. That's where the problem is. Somebody thinks that the money should be apportioned by the department. So say I am presiding over asset, I'm supposed to get my own budget. So you put my own 50 or 60,000 in my budget. So I will control it. The other man who controls certain logistics say you put the money. The other man who controls research say so they want like a whole government that everybody can get their own budget working in. Now, the head of the asset recovery says no. It must be overly controlled. And this is what the problem is.
So
they don't want to come to the public to tell the public what the real problem is, and they passing and beating around and push and making it appear like corruption smelling here, like corruption, somebody writing 10 pages and all that kind of thing. They should tell the public if they're not serious about the asset recovery thing, and it hasn't been serious from the very first beginning. I think they need to go back, sit down. The president needs to reconfigure it because actually there are some serious people on the asset recovery. Let's be frank about it. There are some very serious people on the asset recovery. It just needs to be reconfigured and redirected so that the right thing can be done.
Well, now that it's in the public, one thing I like about these things that they're in the public view now. So we heard the communication from Martin, saw the communication from Emmanuel Gonkwe, and we'll see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see how they will be handled, and we all are watching. We'll see who's telling truth, who's been truthful, whether if at all. 300,000 plus was spent on office to get an office and refix office, and then at 9,000 out of per billboard, you fix 5 billboards. We'll find out whether the city mayor company is the one that did that billboard, or we'll find out, and whether it's not conflict of interest, we'll find out that. So for now, we're gonna wait, and now all these stuffs are in the public. Let's see what will happen. The president will hear from them, and when he returns to the country. Like Lofa said he believed that the president would not do a thing, and let's see what happens. If he come and let things slide and it will be the same, I know for what I can see what happened. I know people will come outside now, and already we know this rescue team. They're already cracking. The team is there now together. As we continue to go on the show, you listen. I think I just somebody
you were talking about the billboard thing, right? So
yeah.
say for example. And that's why they don't want the public to understand this. I mean, if somebody says 9,000 for a billboard and they make it a PLA, 9,000. Do you know how much to rent one gigantic billboard in the street? You pay around $3,000 or so a month. Now, asset recovery is not only about Monrovia. So technically in Monrovia, you might put around 4 or 5 billboards. Then you're talking about 15 counties. Maybe if you put one in a county, because I think they wanted something promotional about it. So technically, even 9,000 per month.
Hold on 1 second, though.
Is it for one billboard?
Toga, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, because Tomalin initially said he reached out to the chair, and the chair said, is that a way to verify as to whether he even received money? So now you're telling us that you're giving up price of billboard. So is it a possibility, because your whole narrative here appear as though you know or you're certain that funds may have been dispersed, and this is why the fight is in-house? So if the chair is telling Tomalin, and I'm taking Tomalin's word for it, that we need to be able to verify whether he even received money, where are you coming from with your own idea that, hey, they're giving up price on billboard?
Because it's two against one. Martin's statement is corroborating with Gongwe. So that's where we come from. And they are the insiders. They are commissioners as well.
Yeah,
so
but Toga,
2 persons saying yes, money actually came out.
Okay, so Toga, I reached out to the chairman, asking about the issue that on in the public, and then what he responded, he said, dig deeper first. When you have evidence of whether I have ever received a dime, then you revert to me. By law, misappropriation is misapplying money for intended purpose. But how can one misapply money he has not received? Mere propaganda. So, I mean, it is what he's sending me. So come on. And then people ask, the question will be, as we said, they're gonna dig deeper. Whether there were money given, even the price, the cost of the billboards is not a problem. But why would you give billboards contract to the mayor of city mayor company when there are other? I'm sure there are all Liberians who can do billboards in our town. Why are you giving?
Why do you need billboards? Why do you even need billboards? What billboard has to do with going to go acquire asset? That's the first question we'll be asking ourselves. It makes no sense to me.
Everything's gonna come up. We'll find out what's going on.
For me, I think the issue of billboard is more like a PRO stuff, right? Like before we had LACC billboards around Maria, where they were talking about corruption and how to fight corruption, how to stay out of corruption and all that. So they normally would need these kind of promotional materials. All right, so I've seen that.
No, Alex,
very sensitive.
But has that?
And the other thing, I posted that. Just 1 minute, please, Juju. I posted that on my page, for example, over the issue of you remember something I posted, and I took some different stuff from the code of conduct, and I was talking about the issue of key officials of government also doing business and stuff like that, which they were interfering with some of these companies. And then where you're coming from now, Tomalin, it has to do with, for example, the city mayor. The city mayor of Monrovia is the owner of a printing press, and he's getting printing press contracts from serious institutions. He's not the only one. The representative from district number 8, Prince Toes, he also has a printing press, and he's taking serious contracts. All right. Another person is the guy who is the deputy at fire service, Edwin Tester. He has another big printing press. All these guys will tell the public that they've resigned, but they're still signing for themselves and taking contracts.
Does that make it right?
And it's very bad.
Okay.
Like you're talking about the city mayor. The city mayor has been running a printing press company for ages. You can't continue like this. You can't be taking contract from the same government that you work in. This is conflict of interest. This is wrong. This is corruption. It must stop.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, let us make progress. But you understand that when people say that,
excuse me, Tomalin, and now the people are supposed to bid for the contract, right? So if they're giving the contracts to the government official, mean that there is no bidding for the contract, you're still taking away from the people you're working with. It's just so crazy.
And that's the issue with raising and grace, because they happen in the UP government, happen in the CDC government, then it happen in this government. People have been so it's like We talk about change. It's like again, it brings us to our second topic of discussion: the president's visit to the states. I mean, the U.S. I heard the president talking. One of the, I mean, a good rabbi is here. Rabbi is in Atlanta. He will share with us a lot of maybe a lot. We get a lot of talk about what happened in Atlanta. But for instance, the president was telling people in Atlanta, it's completely different from what they're doing. The people we are talking about now. Okay, you because this guy, when the election ended, he started to clean the city. He volunteered to clean the city, and now he paid to get his mayor job. Honestly, people may have problem with that, but look, Dwalu was one of the guys who were up for that job, and I believe that Dwalu would have done a good job. I mean, trust me. I mean, we may not agree politically, but I think he was up to the task. But again, because the rescue people decided to take that way. But again, and then as we speak further, I heard DeLon. I just got a clip. DeLon is going to complain that the president, he mad with the president because he have yet to make his asset declared public. So you see, but I hope DeLon will have like he used to have a podcast show to do that kind of a podcast where he create awareness and express his displeasure, what's happening. He even complaining about the money they're getting now, that they're not happy with the money they're getting, all this stuff happening. But guys, let's talk about the president trip. If anybody gets
wait, he's not happy with the money they're getting.
What money?
He's not happy with the money they're getting, so he's complaining now that the president did not declare a publish, he did not publish his asset. So how are we sure that what he's saying is ready for the country, or he just doing it because they never gave him the money now? And that's why we don't trust these people. Let us go on with the show, man. They should just be quiet.
The president's trip to the USA, right, guys? Maybe everybody, maybe somebody got to say something about the asset before we go on, but the president's trip to the US, critics are saying that they really want to see the returns from the trip. What the purpose of that trip, whether it will benefit the country. But I know when the president spoke at a program in Atlanta, he said the former consul general, the lady, Madam Black, oh, her name,
Blanford, Cynthia
Brownford. She said that she was going to explain the discussion they had with the people. But then when she explained, she didn't talk. I thought she would have said that Delta have agreed to start flying with her brother. She didn't say nothing. She just said that. She didn't express the discussion. But look, but Robert, you can get us going with that topic.
So I want to say Miss Blanford is probably watching, okay, and I know her very well. She's like a big sister to me, and we've interacted. We work in the Liberian community. She's a great person, but I've got to be honest here. This all seems to be like, look, I think Miss Blanford is trying to get back into the fold. And there were serious discussions and things that happened under the CDC-led government that she did not necessarily agree with. I know that they would not like me to say this, but I will say this on this platform. Cynthia had moved during the last few months, or maybe a year or two of the Ellen-led government, second term. She had moved from one office to a bigger space where she had a personal assistant that I know very well. And she had a big office, and there were lots of unpaid, rent that the CDC-led government, did not pay, and all efforts to get some of those payments, were felt on deaf ears. So, the president trip to the U.S., especially to Atlanta, for me was a bit confusing. But before I even start, let me just say this to the president and the foreign minister, Sarah Beslow. Sarah Beslow is a member of my church. Her father was a deacon, Mr. Beslow, and he attended the International Christian Fellowship. She attended the International Christian Fellowship, and it's something that happened at church yesterday that I admired, and I have to thank the president for this. They recognize our late Bishop, Dr. William B. G.K. Harris, for his tremendous work. I spoke with Bishop on many occasions about Joseph Boycott, and I'm not going to go in details, but he was a guy who respected Joseph Boycott and who was involved in our community. And the fact that the president came in his statements at the church, he took some time to really recognize the late bishop, and he actually honored the late bishop as well. Bishop Kula was actually at church as well. It was great. And of course, the last preaching that was done a week before Bishop passed was done by Sarah Bessel. And a lot of people don't know that. She preached at the International Christian Fellowship. So it was nice that they came out and whatnot. But let me start with the meeting at the airport. You cannot come to Atlanta and talk about the any possibility of Delta resuming a direct flight from Atlanta to Liberia. And in those meetings, you're meeting with my airport managers. We know we know who were in those meetings. These are people that we talk to all the time. You cannot come to the city and want to talk about Delta, any possibility of Delta recommencing flights to Liberia, and you don't meet with any Delta executives, the people who actually have the possibility of making these decisions. This is the whole president of Liberia. We're not talking about the foreign minister yet. We're not talking about some guy from the president's high level minister. We're talking about the president of Liberia. And so anyone, Tomalin, who tells you that the meeting in Atlanta was somehow an initial conversation to have Delta resume, all lies. All lies. Because we pick up the phone, we call those folks who were in the meeting. You cannot come and allow the president of Liberia to meet with airport managers. You cannot come to Atlanta and you meet. No, Hartsfield Jackson International Airport is not only the busiest airport in the world, it's the largest airport in the world. Delta hub is in Atlanta. The person who has the most influence in the city with regards to Delta, you got to start with the mayor of the city. The mayor of the city is very accessible. The mayor of the city is very accessible. So you may not tell me that the president of Liberia cannot even come to the city and be accompanied by the mayor of Atlanta and top executives of Delta, not airport managers. There's north and south of the airport. Delta controls the south of the airport. The north of the airport is controlled by American Airlines and Southwest and all these other airlines. So this whole trip to Atlanta and the fact that this thing happened as immediately when he arrived at the airport, well, charade. This was a bluff. And so there's no conversation about Delta recommencing any flight to Liberia. There were no decision maker from the executive level, Tomalin, at that meeting, and I was very disappointed. When we asked what conversations reached, this thing happened last minute. And I love my big sister Cynthia. She picked up the phone, and of course, she's trying to get back in the fold, and she was able to get a few managers from the airport to meet with the president. But I want anyone to tell me who were those top executive members in that meeting, and how long did the meeting last? What were the details? The reason why there were no one speaking in that meeting, the reason why you will not hear any update, is because there was no serious discussion held. And let me just say, Delta is currently flying to Ghana. And by the way, Delta is not flying from Atlanta to Ghana, because I flew Delta from the US to Ghana round trip. You have to fly from Atlanta to go to New York. So if the airline from Atlanta to Ghana have more passenger and is more beneficial to the airline Delta, right? Because you got more folks going out there, not just Ghanaians, business folks and so forth and so on. You want to tell me that Delta will recommence any possible from Atlanta to Liberia? It doesn't make any sense. But when the president of Liberia is in a state, I think it is incumbent upon us to accord the president of Liberia the level of respect that he or she is due. When you want to have conversations about anything major like that, you have got to make sure the decision makers are in the room with the president. If the decision makers are not in the room with the president, you don't denigrate the presidency by having the president in those meetings. They could have met with Sarah Bessel. They could have met with representatives from the president's office, especially when they're just airport managers. And one of the things I heard from one of the managers were that they were very surprised that the president, and this is not to disrespect to the president, I said the man is almost 80 years old. He's an older man. People could better understand what the president was saying. I mean, there was no energy in the look. The people did not have any plan as to, okay, if Delta there was no conversation about Delta recommencing any flight to Liberia. It's a long process, especially when you just have the airport managers in there. But this was a doing of Cynthia. She's a great woman. Don't get me wrong. And so if she's watching, she's a great woman. I know her very, very well. But it's clear here that she's trying to get back the consular office that's still on due payments that are due. This government will have to pay that. The office has been shut down. Visa folks have to fly to DC to get visa now from Atlanta or to New York. So she wants to get back in the fold. This was all her doing. But the service worship sir was great. I thought that he did a phenomenal job recognizing the bishop. But Tomalin, let me just say this. There is absolutely nothing. There are no juice, nothing about anything concerning Delta flying or recommencing a flight from Atlanta to Liberia. This would not happen. No decision maker was in that room. It was all airport managers. And by the way, when I say airport managers, I'm not even talking about chief executives. I'm talking about airport managers. I would not have allowed the president of Liberia in that room with airport managers.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know who really arranged this trip with the president to the U.S. The trip, the U.S. African Summit. I don't think any African leader attended that conference. I think Liberia, the only African president was President Boaga from Liberia, so forth.
And some former president former president was there, but he was the only sitting president there, pretty much.
I don't know who organized this trip, but I really, the people, the critics are saying they want to know the benefits from this trip. Like I think Peabody in a chat room. I put it in I saw it this morning. The president, the Nigerian foreign minister, Yusuf Tuga, he's in the U.S. He meeting Nigeria's foreign minister, meeting his counterpart, Anthony Blinken, and President Biden. And our president is in the U.S. on his first official visit to the country. First, our major visit to a foreign capital, one of our major powers. I heard he's leaving on the 15th. Today is the 13th. You got 2 more days. Perhaps he will be meeting folks in Washington tomorrow. We don't know, because you can't come on this trip, your first major trip to the U.S., and you can't even meet somebody from the State Department or somebody. And like somebody raised the issue on Friday watching the show that that visit, the meeting with the ambassador to the UN. It's true, and that person was right that she wanted a contract, a lobby contract with the weird government, but she wasn't given that contract during the Trump administration. So, and then I think she was not happy. So I think she was very instrumental in supporting the Boaga administration and trying to promote them. So that meeting she had with him on the sidelines, I don't know whether it was an official meeting. He met him official capacity, because I didn't see any release from the State Department on our meeting. Usually you have a release from the State Department about such a meeting. But the president trip to the U.S., people are concerned about it, because we want to see because imagine now, over 35 persons on this trip, and each of these people have the DSA alone. They pay money for it. And if you come in on this kind of major trip to the USA, you won't have to have a dividend. I think to be fair, when President Ouiac made his first trip, he was in France. I think he went to France to meet President Macron. And then, and where Liberia were offered $10 million from that trip, I think, so forth. But to see the president is in the U.S. and when they see Liberian community, thing we saw, and I saw a state representative from the African caucus giving him an award, all this stuff, and then the other men say, my former professor, Professor Kone, and last time all these things from Morehouse College, all this stuff. We want to see the returns from this trip. But guys, you guys can share your thoughts and let's move on.
Okay.
I just wanted to add,
Sylvester.
because that.
Go ahead, Grace.
Emily and Robert, I know Sarah Yenti very well. She's a good friend of mine. And I even worked on her campaign to some extent. So I know her very well. And I'm very disappointed.
You're not working on your own campaign, you're working on her campaign?
That was before.
Exactly.
That was before.
You're working on something.
Let me say it. And that's why I say you guys in your political guy, I gotta get a story. My job was to help find people who could deliver the country. I work on
What
Gongo
happened
campaign.
music in the
I
background? Who's
work
that?
on Bonds
Yeah,
campaign.
guys, do
I
yourself.
work on Sarah Yente campaign. All right. So get the story correctly. This was years ago. All right.
Okay. Mhm.
I'm very disappointed at her because the thing that Tomalin is saying, why our president cannot even meet any top government official. He comes to a meeting with no other African president. Who's responsible for that? Sarah Yente. She's the foreign minister.
Thank you.
So let put being, and I'm very disappointed at her, and I hope she's listening. This is a woman who's wanted to be president, and so good that I have a very good sense of character. Once I gave you the opportunity, and I see that you're not a serious person, I back off. And that was some of the reasons I was saying. If we have a foreign minister and the president cannot even meet the Secretary of State, cannot even meet any time, what is the whole purpose of this stupid business thing? What benefit is that to Liberia? You have an ambassador here. Okay, you have a foreign minister. You have an ambassador at large. Then the president walking around in America when you have serious economic, social, drug problem. Let me just let you guys understand the extent what the crisis are going Liberia that people taking for granted. Cuba is a country that's been sanctioned for over 60 years. Okay, Cuba GDP is over $120 billion. Compare that to Liberia. Okay, Cuba that don't even have relationship with any Western country since the 60s. So we just have substandard, incapable people. All the noise that were making Sarah Yente was in UN and all that stuff. What president, Jemiah Faye, who just got elected a month ago, less than a month ago, okay? Rwandan President Paul Kagame just flew to Senegal, okay? Just flew to Senegal to meet with him. This is a 44-year-old man, okay? And we have a president that been in public office for 40 years, that been vice president. You can't even get an African leader. Yeah, you can't even get an African leader to just come to Liberia just even as a public relations stunt. Then you say you got a foreign minister that qualified. I don't see anybody in our government that have the capacity. When I say these people are incompetent, you think that's a political thing or that's a cliche or something. They are very incompetent. They don't even know their job. They don't even know what a job is. Or what business have even gone to Liberia. Another thing I wanted to add, when I see Chinese people or Mali people going to meet the Liberian president, it's disgraceful. No business person should go to a country and go meet with the president.
And have access.
That tells you don't have. That telling you yes. That telling you you're empty-headed president. You have a minister of commerce. You have a minister of finance. Any other business person you think they can go to any country, you think a Chinese businessman can go to Senegal and go to the presidential palace to meet with it. Even the French businesses, they don't even meet with him. They meet with his advisor and his commerce people. That just tell you, the intelligence of these people who claim to be, they know Liberia, they know politics and all this thing. And I just reach the point where I just want to hear how we can just move forward. Let's just talk about now what's the next step for Liberians to move forward. But yeah, leave this, it's garbage. Nothing's gonna come. You come to a meeting for what? What is the essence of coming, spending almost $2 million? The meeting is over. Why are you still fanning around America? The meeting has ended. President goes somewhere. You're so busy. You go to the meeting, maybe the next day or the same day, you're out. I respect Bishop Kula and all these people there, but that's not the job of the president.
Yeah.
To be coming to go to church and be honoring people, that's not the job. I'm sorry.
And let me come into Tomalin.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Grace, I'm sorry. Can I just ask Alice one quick question? You come through real quick. I'm begging you, please. 30 seconds. I just want clarity here on the
What you say?
I just want clarity on the issue of his support for Madam Besto, right? Alex, I just want you to make clarity here.
Yeah,
Was that the same time when you were actually promoting CDC here? like you see here, or
Lofa, you got me start something, man.
I just want to know. I just want to know because if Alice can help me understand, is that the same time or it was at a different time when you were doing this? Is that when?
Lofa guy, Lofa, you like trouble too.
No, I just
Okay.
all right. You know what, Alice, you don't have to answer the question.
Lofa Julius.
Let's keep it. I just
don't
wanted
think
to
Alice
know.
will answer the question,
All right,
though.
you know,
I don't
okay,
think
all right. Alice, you don't have
Lofa
to.
Julius, I'll answer your question very short.
Listen, Lofa, Alice
I have
spoke.
never supported. Listen to me.
I was simply
I have
asking.
never. Listen
For
to me.
clarity's sake.
Listen to me.
And
Let
that's
me
an
answer the
important,
next
Lofa, that's a very important question you asked it just now. But I would advise,
Lofa Julius
Lofa.
without leave of Diami or Diami become president of Liberia.
Lofa,
For the record here,
that's an
I have
important
never
question.
supported CDC. That was a gift to me by a girl I was dating at the time, and I wore it and I was joking.
Oh, she was a Syrian, huh? Wuyashe?
Yeah, she
See?
was a, and she
See,
gave
now
me the
you
t-shirt,
clarified that. That's
and
good.
I wore the t-shirt.
All right, Cyrus,
Thank you.
great. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
By the way, the guys watching the show right now. I mean, like, you know.
Yeah.
Great.
So shout out to her.
Let me tell you
Wonderful
something.
girl.
What Alice was saying. I mean, you take the country, you take the money for the country. The president come on a trip, and he did not. I mean, he letting people of no essence meeting the president of the Republic of Liberia, managers. As Akagwa saying that anybody can meet, and that's why when you put a foreign, and that's the reason why people couldn't understand they were in my inbox. Oh, women empowerment. You can't say that. And I can't. I was talking that day. Somebody said, "Oh, you know," he was like, "Damn, Grace," but I said it. I'm a feminist, but I have to support women who can really deliver. I don't just support any woman because this is not about woman and men. This is about Liberia. We are putting Liberia first on the front row. We cannot support people that will not deliver for the country. And for you to have a foreign minister, that foreign minister have to have real contact in high places. And then when we talk here, they say, "Oh, you boasted." I alone can make Waka meet Senator Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania. In 2 days, I can just make an arrangement. We will meet the senator of Pennsylvania. So then how your foreign minister may our president to go and meet managers, and then we see dignitaries at the summit sitting out on the floor. Those how about people, dignitaries, I got picture here, sitting on the floor at the summit. It's a disgrace to Liberia, our country. You know, they say, "Oh, you don't go back." We don't want to go back, but the way our people used to carry themselves. If you can just model that same thing and then we move forward in the 21st century, Liberia will be a beautiful place. Look, Joseph Boakai made a mistake with his appointments, and I think because he held a lot of grudges for other people who can really do the job, so he just they kind of said that Papa got a black boy that tried to wear your knee down. So he just made like, bro, you know, because of all the grudges. But when you want to lead and you want to succeed and leave a legacy, you have to put the proper people in place, my brother. My president or Joseph Boakai. I know people insulting me in my inbox. Don't call a man Joseph Boakai and you got to put president in man. You got no respect. Look, let me tell you, I live in America. I'm a 21st century woman. I don't have time. I have no respect of that. I'm not a respecter of individual. I have respect for the office. So if the president deliver, I would say he's president. Right now, he's not president to me because he's not done anything yet for me to see him model in our footsteps. Joseph Boakai was in government for 12 years in that office as vice president. All the Lebanese people used to go up and down his office. That the one he used to meeting all the people there that have, mediocre people that will not bring no substantial growth to his government. And he personally now, he don't know how to distinguish that and remove himself that, you know, I can't just meet everybody. I got people in places, like June said, people in places that are supposed to be meeting these people, not me as a president. Y'all take the man and carry him to go meet manager at the airport and y'all got dignitaries sitting down on the floor at the summit and acting like they're working and y'all post all kind of picture on Facebook and y'all say you're serious government. Y'all must be joking. Like when people coming for you, I just heard the news. They say they're supposed to getting plenty in like bro. Now they say they are even more than the police in the so you better take that before the training over to that government. Thank you.
Let me. So yeah, you coming?
Yeah, come in.
Okay, yeah, thank you. For me, I'm taking it. I'm going to disagree.
Somebody got a mute. Oh, there's a sign in the background.
I'm basically going to disagree and disagree. From the rapper perspective, I will tend to disagree with him from the issue about the president coming to the country and particularly going to Atlanta, and the issue about Delta Airline moving back to the country. It was this same president, then ambassador and vice president of the Republic of Liberia, that the former president designated to negotiate with Delta Airline to fly to Monrovia. It was the same current president of our republic. We need to check some certain aspect of it. I don't know the level of the official he met with. I was not in that meeting, but I won't want to downplay that kind of a meeting about Delta going back, because he headed a process. He was tasked with a responsibility then with President Salih to engage the Delta leadership to ensure that they fly to Monrovia. The flight pattern was from Atlanta to Accra, and Accra, Monrovia, Accra, pick up, or sometimes Monrovia directed to Atlanta. That went on for some time before they left. They left for some reason also before the issue about the COVID, no, not Ebola. Another process about the president. Now, I will have some problem with us spending a lot of taxpayer money on coming to a kind of an organ meeting that wouldn't yield to the country. I would have problem with that seriously. That would be a breach of bureaucratic processes and the rest of that. But the structure of our I still believe personally that the current foreign minister of our country is a very competent and able person to get the job done. I believe that clearly. She's a woman that is educated, got sufficient contacts, but the process we need to understand here, and that's what we do, right? We discuss the issue, because there's a clear process here. The foreign minister, someone said, that my dear brother was saying, the foreign minister does the president. The constitution is clear. The foreign minister is just a messenger to the president. Article 57 of our constitution says that the chief architect of the foreign policy of the Republic of Liberia is the president, not the minister of foreign affairs. So we have to understand clearly to say that, so the foreign minister is not the one that had the entire process of our foreign policy process. No, not the foreign minister. But again, that to come here and don't meet senior U.S. government official does not in any way prove that the foreign minister of our country is incompetent. No, I believe that Madam Sarah Yanti Beslow is very competent and able to work as an international civil servant and understand the basic process about meandering through the international community. That's one of the processes that I believe that she can do. We need to give some time to her. But in the line that where the president will move into the country and not meeting, it happened a lot of time. We need to first and foremost clearly understand how the U.S. foreign policy instrument allows. Now, for the U.S. president to meet, and since Madam Salih was the only president basically during our recent history that met two American presidents in Rome. She met President Bush, and even he came to the country in 2007. There was a state official visit in Liberia, and then she met Bush, I think 3 times, and met Obama 2 different times. So even the current vice president met Obama, right? The current president of the republic met Obama, but the U.S. foreign policy process is aligned with strategic interests. Now, so we need to understand the foreign policy tools of the United States government. That foreign policy interest is aligned with is very strategic. The reason why the foreign minister of Nigeria is coming here to meet both Antony Blinken and that of the president of the United States is clear. It is tailored on the U.S. major foreign policy instrument, which is national security. We understand clearly the United States of America will have to require or need Nigerian collaboration and cooperation to fight against international terrorism. And so one of the strategic reasons why they will always time to time align with Nigeria and will not hit them and the way that they hit other countries that are having emerging democracy and don't have some major foreign policy instrument that could back their process. So I would believe clearly, the president came here, he didn't meet a profile government official, but that does not negate the reality that it was not a plain issue. This is America. So that we have to put those things into play. But to say that process of going back, this same man negotiated that to fly to Liberia before. So I don't know the intent of this meeting. I don't know who he met personally, but I won't want to dismiss the process that it's not possible that to go to Liberia. No, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to go back. I don't want to dismiss it outrightly because he played a major role in the airline going to Liberia before they stopped and they flew there time to time. I flew with Delta from Liberia directly before into the United States. So it should be an issue that we need to respect this line and come and say it. We would disagree in the area, but when it comes to this area where we have to come and speak to the reality and point some issues that are important, we're going to do those things.
Yeah, but let me just come in quickly. You know, when it comes to the issue, don't forget this president. He became president. He did not attend the ECOWAS summit, the African Union summit. These were important. He should have attended. He did not attend it. And then number two, to come to the USA, when it comes to that issue about Delta, I think it was Robert Johnson and Richard Anderson, the CEO of Delta, with President Salif, that initiated that Delta coming to Liberia, if I'm mistaken.
He as vice president, vice president was taxed by the president.
Yeah, but if that was so, he would have indicated it when he was speaking. He would have said that he played a role, but he did not indicate it. He just said the discussion we had at the airport, when Cynthia came, she would talk more about it. And when Cynthia came, she didn't talk much. She only said she didn't even talk much about the Delta issue. She was talking about relationship, about education, so forth, but nothing much about Delta. Because even when he announced about Delta, the people shouted, they clapped for him. But then he said, well, when Cynthia comes up, she will talk more about the issue we had, the discussion we had at the airport about Delta. And because there are certain conditions, for instance, that have not been met, that met at the airport, Liberia, for Delta to start flying at the Monrovia. They only fly to Ghana and stop Ghana, you know. And have we taken care of the security stuff at the airport, the runway, all this stuff, the lighting and so forth? So, but I just
let me answer that question. Quickly. When it comes to the issue of the airport,
my thing is this: the president coming to the USA, who should not that play politics with it. He should not that trip. Honestly, that meeting he came for, that thing happened in Dallas last week. Man, look, you can. Let's be honest. If that was a serious meeting there, you have seen several African leaders there. It's an African summit. But you saw former African presidents there. And it brought in fact, right now, I don't have a problem with that though. Most important delegation now, they have left to go to their family quickly to see their family members in the States. The president, I don't know where he on his own now right now, somebody up where he right now, I wouldn't know. But right now they're going to leave him quickly, leaving on the 15th. So if I get family here, I'm going to speak to my family, tell them hi, and quickly and go back. But right now, the president and his immediate family and his detail are all together now, but members are already meeting their family members in the States. But Peewee, there's no reason why the president he's not meeting anybody from the State Department or from the he did an important thing. He signed a War Crime Code instrument right before he left the country. You think he should have been meeting with somebody to say, well, and the U.S. government issue a statement to say, well, to push it further. You know, so I think we shouldn't downplay it, man. We shouldn't just elevate that meeting because I think their trip. We should have seen something substantial from it. Coming to the U.S., our major partner, he like me, President Biden or Secretary Blinken, but somebody, man, on a serious note. But guys, weigh in quickly.
So let me say this, right? First of all, I listened to Peewee trying to justify the current president role he played in having Delta to return to Liberia. I will hope that Peewee will also understand that the roles of business executives is not static. All the people he was opportune, or he may have been opportune to meet when he was instrumental in that entire process, possibly could not be there today. So when Robert come on here and say, look, he was meeting with managers, airport managers, it speaks volume. If you're serious, you're looking to meet executives because these are people who make the decision in the interest. I mean, this is business decision. You're not talking about airport managers. You're talking about business decision that drives profit or actually cut back on profit. This is a business. The idea here is revenue generation. How do we get money? Our investment is not simply for charade. If the president came out here and he was actually meeting with just mayor, airport manager, and Robert is telling you that, hey, the people he met with, we know these people and nothing is going to come out of it. It reminds me of President, we are airplane, they kick airplane. How far did that go? We saw the airplane. We saw the people, the charade. People were bluffing around here talking about we're about to have our own airplane. Where is it? Let's be real about this. Look, my idea, in my view, on this entire trip to the United States, President Boykott's trip to the States, I didn't expect anything to, and I continue to say this, and I'm sorry to sound so redundant in the way I sound, but the reality is this: they had no plan. These people came to power because they were just seeking chances. They had no change idea. I'm going to share this image with you guys today, and then I will conclude on what I want to say. Due to the fact that we have a lot of people on here, I want to close on this particular note here about what, guys, a serious country, people who deserve better transformation. Here is your former senator. This is the former senator of Lofa County. Okay, and I'm deviating purposely to make a point here. This is a man who was a senator but did not impact any form of transformation. This is Steve Zago. He served at the Senate. Today, he's an immigration officer. You could not impact a decision at the Senate level, but you come into immigration. This is a man who came to immigration, and then he did not only just accept the demotion, because that's what happened in this term. He was demoted to serve as an immigration. He went and promoted his brother. What do you expect from such a person? Because the decision to have this man in this position was on at the expense of President Boycott. President Boycott actually gave this man this position. Do you expect anything better? No, these young men and women did not come to this government to transform Liberia. They have no idea as to how the entire country should be run. So it is based on trial and error. So when I hear Robert talk about, hey, he did not meet with anybody, I will believe it until we can see something substantial, until we can see tangibles. We cannot sit here and try to justify his failed trip to the United States. When President Weah did it, we yelled. As a matter of fact, it was all on the social media that President Weah was incompetent. He was simply just making all of these trips because he wanted to be out of the country. He had no idea as to what he really wanted to accomplish. Here we are today, a president lying to Liberians about the delegates on his trip. In reality, he traveled with more than the people he listed. Deception to the core. It is unacceptable for a man who ran on the idea of transparency and integrity. You will think that he will lead in the way that Liberians will believe something better than that. To come out here to the United States and simply take trips to every city or state, trying to justify your trip. You're not doing anything. You're trying to be deceptive. But like I told some of the UP partisans in 2017, all right, my first appearance on the Spoon Talk, Stephen Johnson, I told him, I said, look, this election will be heavily impacted. The influence of social media will be high. He denied it, and he said the worst. Today, you all can speak to the reality that yes, social media influence in the last election was heavy, and it will continue to be as heavy as it is. So we should not take these things for granted. We should not make it as though we must be politically correct. And that is why I admire the unique posture of this platform. And that's why a lot of people will start to appreciate their presence on this platform, because we are unique in a way that we are very authentic with our views on whether we agree or disagree with the performance of this government. And thus far, I have noticed dismal performance from this government. Failed performance thus far.
Allow me 30 seconds. Allow me 30 seconds, please. I want to be clear. And I know sometimes people are joking, right? But when people talk about Robert is mad because he could not meet the president, let me tell you something. It's laughable. Because you know why it's laughable?
Are you mad?
It's laughable. It's just exactly. It's laughable because I decide whether or not I want to meet the president or not. That's my decision. In fact, I had that option. You know where the president stay? The president stay at the West End in Buckhead. The West End in Buckhead is adjacent the JW Marriott in Buckhead where my office is. And do you also know who run the West End in Buckhead? You see, when you guys start making all these assumptions about people, you got to slow down because you don't know people, you don't know us, you don't know our capacities, you don't know our connections. I served this community as vice president, the youngest ever. There are people in this community that tremendously respect me. And by the way, yesterday, after the president left church, I was given the opportunity, along with members of the concerned Liberian group, because Lama is in chaos right now. Lama is completely divided. The reason why the president let me say this.
So are we really going to deviate to
No,
address
no.
these-
I said this. I said this to clear the air. But let me get back to what
Let's
Pee Wee
get back to
said.
right. Come
Let
on.
me get
Yeah.
back to what Pee Wee said. So if I want to meet the president, I can meet the president. But Andrew Dickens is the city mayor of Atlanta. Now pick up the phone and call Andrew Dickens and ask some questions. I'm not going to tell you the question you should ask. And before he became city mayor of Atlanta, he served 2 terms as council member on the board year. You mean to tell me that the president of Liberia could not pick up the phone to any Liberian in this city to say, look, or the foreign minister say, look, how do we get in contact with Andrew Dickens? I know how to. By the way, people mentioned the significant role the former CEO of Delta had, along with Bob Johnson, in getting Delta connection to Liberia. So if the vice president was on those boards and in those meetings, won't the president now know the people who are making decisions are those he needs to be meeting with? Ed Boston, who is the current CEO of Delta, lives in Delta. And do you know where he lives? The president is residing at the West End in Buckhead. Do you know where Ed Boston lives? Let me tell you something. You gotta be careful. When the president comes to this country, we're talking about the president of Liberia. And as such, we've got to respect the presidency. And I think Alex was spot on. There are certain people the president cannot meet. The hotel, when we sign contracts for flight attendants and pilots to come and stay, we don't meet with managers of the airport. They run logistics. They don't make decisions on budgetary matters. You need people on tables who make decisions. You need people on tables who make decisions. And so we should be irate that the president will come here, waste 2 hours in Atlanta at a meeting with managers, and up to today's date, even though they went live about the meeting and they went live on everything else, we've got no detail on anything that was discussed. Oh, we know why. You know why Cynthia won't mention anything? Because Cynthia is not a fool. I know her very well. Call her and ask her too, who is Robert Gagwa? So let's stop this thing. It's not about politics. It's about the truth. This trip was a waste of time. And in particular, other than the fact that the president worshiped at his friend's church yesterday, and the fact that he was recognized and he took his time to come and worship, I commend him for that. But this trip, with regards to how does it benefit Liberian taxpayer? What are the returns on investment? I'm waiting to hear the argument upon arrival in Liberia. I'm waiting for that. So it's not about Robert being mad about the presidency. I meet who I want to meet. I got some good friends. I got some really good friends. It's not about that. It's about the facts and about the truth.
Okay, let Willie come in, but before Willie come in, don't forget though when President when President Weah was president, I think President Boga said that when the ministers came here, they said they met truck Uber drivers.
Yes.
And he said they accused him of being Uber drivers. I think when he appeared on Spoon at the time, Keff Hassan asked him, say, did they really be Uber drivers? And he said no. He said, can you apologize? And the president now apologized on Spoon that he was wrong for saying that. But Willie, you can join the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to agree with Alex Jones here and also Robert, man, that this trip, it comes across as being, a waste of taxpayers' money. But also, I think it misrepresented the trip on the Executive Mansion website. Even I went to the African business website, and from what they're saying, they're making it seem like the president made economic strides by meeting economic partners for progress in order to push the economic situation in Liberia. It shows the drive and progress, on his part based on the people he met. But now, from what we're hearing, no one else was there as far as like African leaders, and we don't see those type of strides. So, I think they got to do better than what they did, and they have to be able to put the team together to be able to represent the country in a better way, and to be able to set goals, economic goals, and strive towards those things when they're making trips, that would lead to dividends for the country. We're not seeing that, and I would say it's almost shameful.
Yeah, guys. Before we move on, anybody got anything to say about this president's trip to the U.S. before we move on?
I was
So
quickly-
Tomalin, yes.
Yeah, Toga.
Sylvester, okay. No, Sylvester can come in. I'll come in after you.
Okay.
Sylvester don't have anything concrete to say.
No, that
You don't have
no,
anything
quickly,
concrete
let me
to
say
add to the
something.
conversation.
I didn't listen.
Don't make
Robert
it
said-
the two
No,
presidents.
but man, it better you get the man got a different view to the matter. Let him talk.
Yeah, no. The view that was the view.
And I respect my brother Sylvester very much, by the way. I
On
don't declare.
a serious note, what Robert said about the meeting, if indeed the current president could not leverage other opportunity he had during Madam Sharif days to tap, because he served as vice president, now coming as president, he will have super leverage that to even go. I expected him to arrange with the CEO of Data. Not
Okay,
even go.
now
On
you
a
agree
serious note,
with
that's
me.
what I
Okay.
said, right?
And he's right in Atlanta. He's right in Atlanta.
I expected him to have done that. If it is true that he met with that manager on Jackson Hatfield Airport, it's quite unfortunate. And that's what I'm saying. It's quite unfortunate. But I was trying to my own bear up the former presidential runaway.
Who made that beat? Who made that beat? The presidential runaway. Who made
I
that beat?
bought my ticket. I went to the whole run capital. The man went to Moy. He started doing pop variety and he forgot about our presidential thing. So, but again, Sarah Yanti Beslo is still a very serious person, my dear brother. On a serious note.
You know,
to give the opportunity.
Wait, Alex,
yes.
Alex, hold on.
Yes, so Sylvester,
Yeah,
and,
go
you
ahead,
know,
go ahead.
and all of you, other panelists. The thing here is, I think I'm also noticing something.
Mm-hmm.
We are not tapping into some of our best brains. We are not tapping into some people who have been around. I think this entire thing about, President Bouaka has been in government for some 42 plus years, seem to have overtaken everything, and everybody thinks that, he can do anything. He understands everything. Simply, no man is an ally. In fact, this entire trip, I don't know because he served under the WEA's administration or not, but I'm barely seeing the ambassador around. I don't know if anybody has seen the ambassador of Liberia to the United States on any of these delegations, but I think the ambassador needs.
No,
Yeah,
the
I think
ambassador
the
is not there.
ambassador-
Ambassador Jeff Donner is not there. Jeff Donner is not there.
Because this ambassador probably has not been changed, or everybody thinks he's a CDC guy, he's a WEA's guy, so nobody wants to utilize his capability. I think that's a problem. This guy has been serving for a couple of years. He understands the terrain. They need to utilize him. That's one of the things. This entire experience, and one of the reasons why you see people are critiquing the Unity Party the way they're doing, because people expect better of them than the CDC. They have over the years portrayed themselves as the most experienced group of people this country has ever had. They bring all of the knowledge, they bring all of the ideas, so people expect more from them. For them, you see, when George Weah went to France, I think around 2018 or so, there was a serious criticism about Weah getting 10 million from the French president. Serious. Everybody talk about, oh yeah, 10 million. What is this 10 million? We spent more than 10 million on the trip. The man is coming back with 10 million. Waka has gone to the US with over 30 men delegation. I saw some people, and I keep seeing some new faces every day when I look at the photographs that are coming out of the place. And new people who not on the list keep popping up. Every day I see new people. So we're talking over 30 people here that are in the US, including office staff of some of the ministers that are there. They took their office staff and all along. So the number has gone up. Now, this sort of delegation, we cannot even boast of the first 1 million that coming in our bag while we're coming back. And we spent millions on the trip already. We have spent millions on this trip. Now, Sierra Leone is going home with 412 million. Malawi, is going home with 350 million. And these are countries that send just ordinary ministers as compared to us that took our sitting president. Then it's embarrassing. Now, we who could not take a tour right here in our own country, people went to the ballot box and voted for this president. This president has not even gone to nearby Kakata to say thank you. He has not even gone to nearby counties to say thank you to the people. But the president is touring from state to state in America. The people who can vote for him are people visiting to tell thank you. Okay. It's unfair to our people.
You see,
it's unfair.
You see, everybody praising Willie. Was it Willie? Somebody said Willie spoke.
Yeah, Willie was very good.
We should follow Willie.
I think Ben just came on. Let me stop here.
He said the man just gave a point and stepped
I mean, I knew the chairman will. I knew the chairman.
So at least Willie.
I knew the chairman will not miss that one.
What is a finance guy? What is a finance guy? He knows how to manage time.
So I think he gave us some.
That's
really. That's
I said, Tomalin,
I know when the president's coming, I'm suddenly coming behind it. So I'm waiting for it.
The chairman is about to bring some breaking news. The chairman been in Washington D.C. all day, and I'm sure he got some breaking news for us. The chairman just posed on important people.
Thank you. Willie been running away from me. He owed me a cigar and a cognac. Jaha Lofa owe me my bottle of Hennessy.
Don't even do that. Don't do that.
But anyway, my niece was sick, so I gave you a little pass. It's okay. But no, guys, listen. Tommy, you're right. We just landed. I just leaving the airport, so we're back home. Had some strategic conversation, and I can tell you. Look, let me say this. No, I'm back home now. I parked my car to the airport. I just landed. Yeah,
so
I just.
Rent your car or your own car.
That's my own car. That's my own car.
Robert, why does that matter? Why does that matter, Robert?
But let me say this, guys, right? And I was listening to the show. In fact, I was on the flight. I was listening to the show. When I landed, I said, no, I was praying. I said, let me reach before they move from all the trip issue here. Because I saw my friend and brother Peewee trying to talk for his uncle and try to switch this thing and bring all his diplomatic foreign ministry term into this thing. Look, Peewee, let's call this thing what it is. This trip was a joke. This trip should have never happened. I think, look, let me tell you something. I think when a president gets on a plane, especially when he makes his first major trip on the shores of the United States, a Liberian president, by the way, not just any country. Let's take for the record, a Liberian president, right? Because it's very important based on what people are going to be reading when the Liberian president visits America. I remember clearly when George Weah made his first visit to America, I think it was to visit the UN or something. I think he came to the UNGA. And everybody was talking about how George Weah was stuck in 3 mile radars. Yes. In fact, the United Party people were the one who were peddling that foolishness, that he was stuck in 3 mile radars. And I think that when he famously did the video with his dog, when he went to see his dog in New York, right? The reason I bring this up is President Bokar did not have to come to that summit. This summit was hosted by the Corporate Council of Africa. I know the people at the Corporate Council. The Corporate Council of Africa it's an organization that is very Africa friendly. What they normally like to do is they would like to get as many heads of states as possible to kind of beef up their program. And I will tell you this, yes, the prestige of their program. But let me tell you this. Someone even spoke about and let me tell you this, no one has been a fan, a bigger advocate for Sarah Beslo Yanti than probably I have been. Even from the past, when I was even on Spawn, I used to tell people all the time, I say, Anybody who's serious and they want a foreign minister, they should pick Sarah Besso Yanti. But I too share some disappointment when it comes to the foreign minister. And I plan on reaching out to her to talk to her about it. It's just unfortunate. I'm not going to go too deep because I respect her and I will have a conversation with her. The fact of the matter is, this was a diplomatic faux pas. I mean, Peewee knows the word I'm talking. He knows the lingo I'm speaking here, right? So diplomatic faux pas. The first visit of the president of Liberia to Washington, to America, you're not visiting Washington, right? You meet with Linda Thomas Greenfield on the sidelines of the U.S. Business African Summit, which is fine. Linda Thomas Greenfield is a member of the U.S. president's cabinet, but nothing comes out. Like Tomalin said, nothing's on the State Department website. There's nothing official. It could have just been, hey, I saw Linda in the hallway. Hey, Linda, we need to talk. Let's chat. Joe, I will come and speak to you. Let's not forget, Linda Thomas Greenfield is an honorary Liberian. She has a Liberian passport. She was given Liberian passport when she was leaving Liberia by President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So she's an honorary Liberian. So she decided that, listen, I will go ahead and speak to Joe and we'll have a conversation. It is disheartening because, like Alex Jones said, you got to be serious when it comes to these things. Look, the president of America not just going to get. Do you know? I noticed something, and let me state for the record, and I stand to be corrected. I don't even know if President Barker has Secret Service protection on this trip. I know he have local state security assigned to him. Most of those white people you see assigned is the particular state that he enters. They provide him with state troopers and stuff like that.
No,
There's a lot.
He has Secret Service.
Okay, good. Because I wanted to be clear because it just looks bad. It looks bad that he's here. Like you said, Robert, he went to the airport. Look, the president of Liberia meeting. You know who the president was meeting? He was meeting people of what he need caliber. Stephen Johnson, who he appointed as one of the directors at the airport. That the kind of people that Barker was sitting down with. Like you said, that meeting, the foreign minister said should not have even been in that meeting. The foreign minister should not have even been in that meeting. And lastly, I want to speak on the Delta issue. Again, I think Peewee was dead wrong. He was dead wrong. The issue of Delta started, truthfully, somebody said Robert Johnson. When Robert Johnson went to Liberia, when he started building his resort, the whole issue was to begin what Ghana just recently stole from us, the year of the return, this pilgrimage thing. That was what Robert Johnson was trying to accomplish. You remember that how they did the Kennedy thing. They said, they were going to build a new Kennedy. And then they said, we'll get Delta to come to Liberia. But it took the instrumentality of President Sirleaf. President Sirleaf was hands-on. He had relationships. The president of Delta was involved. In fact, the first flight that Delta took to go to Liberia, I should have been on that flight, but I missed it. I remember very clearly the president of Delta. There was a lot of dignitaries who attended that program. So the truth of the matter is Delta are not flying to no Liberia. It doesn't make economic sense for them. This is not about them loving Liberia or Joe Barker went to Atlanta and people wanted to make him feel good. Look, it does not make economic sense for Delta to fly to Liberia. Even when Delta are flying to Liberia when they used to Tomalin, when you stop in Accra, everybody get on. Only a handful of us used to stay on that plane to go to Liberia. That's the reason Delta left. Delta left because of, yes, there was security implications, but because they were not just making any money. It didn't make sense for them to continue to fly. We hope and pray that our route will become more attractive. We will do more things to be able to incorporate tourism into our country. And then you will have the Deltas, you will have the Uniteds, you will have the Americans, you will have all of these airlines wanting to fly. But I just wanted to come in because I saw my brother Peewee struggling to defend his uncle and to make it appear like, it's the diplomatic thing and he ain't got to meet people. Listen, if the president knew he didn't have these high-level meetings lined up, he should have sent his foreign minister to this program. He should have planned a much better trip to the United States, especially, like you said, Tomalin, knowing that he had just signed, I think, on the War Crimes Code. I'm extremely shocked at the low level reception that he is receiving in these United States.
Quickly, I think the president should, when he returns to the country, I think for the next trip to the U.S., especially to get that money, that compact, that I want Liberia to get that money. That compact that all these countries that
Tomalin, you know, I told you this thing before, and I will say that before I leave. I told you that thing before. I know we all want Liberia to get compact, but listen, this is a competition. They're not because we love Liberia and they get 1 star in the flag. You're competing against Ghana. You are competing against Rwanda. You're competing against Sierra Leone. You're competing against Malawi. You're competing against now Senegal. You're competing against all of these countries that are doing things that are on another level. I understand somebody said to me, "Oh yeah, maybe they will give him the contract because he signed war crime code." Whoever told you that's how it works? That's not how it works. Because you signed war crime code, you didn't get you compact.
No, but
You know what? Tommy, you know what it took.
That Liberia honor president, we had passed twice, right?
Yeah, but you know how many countries? Do you know how many countries pass flying colors and don't get the compact? It's not necessarily just passing. Read the MCC criteria. It takes a lot of lobbying. You know the kind of work Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had to do? Look, whether you like her or not, she was in a league of her own. She was a star. She was the American darling girl, right? I think Joe Parker will have to do a lot of heavy lifting to be able to secure the kind of compact that they're looking at. And I don't think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen the end of this year. I can tell anybody that. And I'm not being a doomsday prophet.
That would be a blow to Liberia, though. Anyway.
But before Ben, I think Ben's on his way. I was never struggling to defend Uncle whatever.
You are just struggling to defend your uncle, man.
Let me say this, Ben. It's clear we need to understand here clearly that when the president, the chief executive of the republic, and that's something that I know off the top of my head that Madam Sirleaf taxed the then vice president of the country to engage with Robert Johnson and the rest of that to ensure that data should fly to Liberia. That is an emphatic story.
No, but I don't disagree with you on that.
Here's what I was saying. I was saying I expected the current president of the republic, to leverage that opportunity and move more deeper in ensuring that we have.
But Peewee.
I want to be surprised. I don't know the.
Peewee, let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you on something. If any Liberian president after Ellen Johnson Sirleaf should have international contacts, it should be Joe Buckeye.
It should be Honorable Buckeye.
Because you know one of the things Ellen Johnson did for Joe Buckeye? She did it on contrary to what he tell people that he was parked in a car. He was not parked.
That's what I said.
He was not parked, right?
She sent him to the White House.
She sent him all over.
That's what I was saying.
But you saw, but did you see Joe Buckeye inauguration? How many head of state you saw attend that inauguration? Who did you see? George Weah inauguration was more star-studded. Exactly. So my thing is, former vice president and now President Joe Buckeye never leveraged the relationships that he had. He never and these things are, it's something called diplomacy. You aware of this? It's called pressing the flesh. You have to continue pressing the flesh. You have to continue engaging people. You don't leave office for 6 years and you call nobody, and then you just sit down and you you know what's going on, and then you become president and you think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, right,
it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. These things are not magic. They're not magic.
Then you come to Atlanta,
You're right, but again,
can I say something real quick?
But when I'm doing it in line, I was supporting my uncle. No, I was just saying.
Let's go. Thank you.
It's okay to support our
uncle. It's okay to support your uncle.
No, mind you. Yeah.
I think you need to retire now. To be honest, as a friend, I will tell you because you've been wrong on everything.
No, guys,
because teach. Okay, yeah, Joe Buckeye, you need to retire. Seriously, I'm telling you. All right.
Because then you were a web person, I said wrong everything.
No, you can call me wherever you want. It doesn't bother me. But look, Ben, I want to say this. I was watching you the other day, and you're beginning to win my respect.
God, look how you read it.
So you've been very sharp and to the point. You've been calling us, and that was what I expected from you. So keep up the good work. You've been you and Robert are the two, I would say, commentators on the air today that are really objective and very good views. And I was on the show.
Because Lofa can get you hard done. Why you want to call Lofa?
Listen. Lofa got a president of data against me.
I see. But why Lofa always have president of data? I mean, Lofa got to check this out, man.
Guys, I gotta hop off. I gotta hop off because I'm getting ready to I'm making a brief stop before I head home.
Before you hop up, how come someone want to ask you this? How come we are not in office no more? How come you continue to look first? The people say you got nice design glasses the last time. You're driving the kind of car. Why? Who paying your rent? Who paying the car note this time right now?
Joey has a baby. And you know, he been former president. The money that they say he's the guy, he's testing it to me too. But no, Rabbi, it's no big deal. These people don't understand. My only thing I would say though is I would say this, and I think Tomalin hit the nail on the head. The president needs to reset. He needs to hit the reset button when it comes to foreign policy. His minister of foreign affairs need to look. Let me tell you what I expected from my big sister Sarah. I expected someone who would immediately. I always said Liberia don't need a foreign minister who going out there to go look for friends. You need a foreign minister who already have existing relationships that you can start kicking those down and start making things happen. And listen, and pick up and say, Mr. President, listen. We heading to Brussels tomorrow. We're heading to London tomorrow. I got a meeting. at number 10 Downing Street. I'm speaking to the foreign secretary. No. I know where you coming. I know where you coming from.
You don't need that foreign minister. What you need, what you need here is you need the president to do
it.
You don't need that foreign minister. You need the president, not the foreign minister.
But let me say that. I was heading to that. Let me tell you why I was saying that.
That's what I'm going to say. Go ahead.
No, let me tell you what I was about to say, and I will end on this thought, right? Madame Salif technically was her own foreign minister.
And that's the point.
She was within a league by herself, right?
Yeah.
When you have a president like Joe Biden, and the same thing happened to President Weah until lately, I think Kimaya found his footing of lately in the game. He found his footing lately in the game because he had come from the UN. He was now trying to start, rubbing shoulders and stuff like that. When you have a president that is not quote unquote an international diplomatic star like the way Ellen was, you also need a foreign minister who will be able to complement that president. And what you will do, let me tell you the argument I was going to make. Sarah comes from the international circle, right? Sarah should be able to say, hey, I have this contact, Mr. President. I just need you to close the deal on this one. I just need you to make a phone call here. I just need you to do this here. But again, like I said, she's been only there for about 1 or 2 months. I'm waiting. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. But I think what she needs to do, she needs to get a little proactive. In fact, the other day I said Charisma is acting more foreign ministerish than my big sister Sarah. So I want to see her break out of that mold that she's in. I want her to go out there and start to make some of the moves that I think she's capable of making. But so far, I think the Boyka administration, when it comes to foreign policy, has fallen flat on its face.
And Ben, she will not do that. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what's the problem with most of our professional people. Okay? They take a position in government and they undermine their own integrity. Okay, and it goes back to even the finance minister. It goes back to many of the ministers. If I appoint you as Minister of Foreign Affairs, I'm not supposed to really determine. You're supposed to come to the table with a policy. You're supposed to have
an agenda. Even though the president is the chief architect, I agree. The president is the chief architect.
If you don't have
you should be able to come to help build on the president, to help the president build on it. Yeah.
Same thing here with the finance minister and all the people in the government. First of all, you talk about the Delta Airport. That's the Minister of Transport job.
Agree. Yep. Joe Biden should have never been in that meeting. He should have never been in that meeting.
First of all, as a Minister of Transport, you can pick up the phone and call any airline CEO if you're ready for somebody and invite them to Liberia in your office and say, I want to have a discussion about opportunities in the country. What kind of Liberian ministers do we have can do that? What kind of politicians, like you said, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf she has those contacts. She's somebody who is capable. If she were working as foreign minister, why do you think Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf turned down jobs in the government? Okay, because she has integrity. Sarah Yenti, the first thing Sarah Yenti gets there, she wants to please Boyka. I will hear Sarah Yenti. I used to talk all the time. She can't even call me again because why? My name in the black book for Boyka. Don't have a Boyka. You're doing your job. If you need to
why in the black book? Why you need a black book for?
No, because Boyka, they say Boyka carry a book around where when you say something about him, so I know my name or what I book, and I hope it remains there. Because the thing about it is that as a professional person, Dylan, congratulations on your new executive job, and my brother, All right. So I wish you all the best. I think Bank of America.
Yo,
Jalon, let me tell you let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Okay, let me tell you something. All of your young people, let me tell you something. You're talking about Dwalu, supposed to be the minister. I mean, the city mayor. And here's what the problem I have with most of you, including my brother here, Lofa Julius.
Thank you, man.
Okay? You will go and you will put your support behind somebody that you don't. The person don't even see you as an intellectual colleague. The person doesn't even respect you. The person don't even know you. Okay? But you go and support this person. Then you wonder when the person wins and become president or whatever position, the person drop you by the wayside. So that's your problem. You have the capability. You have like Dillon here, like I said, my friend. I would have put a Dillon finance minister. I made it very public. He's qualified. He's a young man. We can sit down and argue on economic theories. We can sit down and discuss. He can disagree with me, and we can go and have a cigar and have a scotch. Those are the kind of Sarah Yendi cannot do that to Boyka. She look at Boyka like her grandfather. You think I will be finance minister of Liberia? I'll be listening to these people? Like Brahma Kamara right now, you can't even hear him. He can't even give a press conference.
So yeah, well, where is Brahma, by the way? Where is he?
That's what I see.
I heard
he has not been well.
He's not well. He's not well.
Oh, okay.
Well, all of you here who are saying, oh, so when you say qualification, I hold Sylvester here because Sylvester does not understand what qualification. When you say somebody is qualified for a job, it's not education. It's not that you work certain places. It simply means that you have the ability to perform a task. It doesn't matter whether you went to Harvard or you went to wherever school. Okay, like you are saying, Tomaya, he was a good foreign minister. He didn't have all of the credentials. He didn't have all of the flair behind him. But I saw how he conducted himself, and he earned my respect.
Yeah. Listen, initially I had my issues with Kimaya, but like I said, I think he came along. He really did come along.
So let's start looking at performance. What I say was my sister, my big sister, my friend, she has done a poor job, and actually I would think if she wants to save skin, now is the time to resign.
No, man, I think that's a little too harsh.
Yeah, I think
that's a little too
harsh. It's not gonna allow her.
Too soon yet. Too soon yet, guys.
Hang on here. You see the thing about it? You see the thing with you people? Everything that I came on the show and said, y'all say was
God, you can be reminded.
Then you come back again. Hold on now. Then you come back again. You say, oh, Alice, you are right. Oh, Alice was correct.
Alex,
Yes, a woman who ran for running for president. Just 1 minute. But 1 second, 30 seconds. Yes, a woman who was running for president to control the whole entire country. It's okay for you to align yourself with the president. But earn the president respect, get the president respect you to go and do your job. You can't go there as one of the president, handlers or one of the president, I'm scared of. First of all, when Sarah Kaba, they made her team foreign, some kind of assistant to the minister or something. First of all, you should have the ability to hire your own people. If the president cannot allow you as a minister to hire the people that you need to do your job, then what's the point of taking the job? If the president cannot allow you to put forward your own agenda, you cannot tell the president, this is not a good foreign trade for you, so I don't think you should go. It doesn't look good. Then why are you in that job? For the pay? For the $7,000 or $8,000 pay? That's what I'm saying. For her to save face right now, she needs to resign because this would take away all of her credibility. And
guys, Alex, and Lofa, I beg you, agreeing. 1 minute. Let me just close. Great show, guys. Thank you for holding the fort down. By next week, we'll be a little more frequent. There's a lot that we're working on. Be some major news in the coming days. We should be breaking some major news. And it ain't got nothing to do with Liberian government, just for the record. Let me just state that. But let me say this. I am going to say this. I saw a report from my brother Eddie Jawolo from Nyenwolo. What I've called it, I can pronounce the name wrong. Nyenwolo. Nyenwolo. And I see that it said Boyka scored 10 out of 100%. 10% out of 100%. I have been a proponent of, I'm a strong proponent of you will determine what kind of president or president will be after the first 100 days.
Right.
Not based on everything they will do, but you will get the sense of how they will lead, how they will make decisions, what they will do. That's why the 100 days is very important, because people get a chance to get that, because the fuzzy feeling got to get out of the country. And then 100 days, you start to make some other decisions. I see they are trending now at 10%. If they are averaging 10% in 100 days, I am assuming they're probably going to be averaging between 20-something%, but by the end of the first year or so. And the reason I say that 10% because I'm trying to be very ambitious, right? You can clearly see that this government is headed for a lot of trouble. The other thing that I want to say, and I think Alex Jones talked about it. Look at Senegal. Look who went to visit President Faye today. Paul Kagame. Anytime I see Paul Kagame goes to a country, I have hope for that country. He left Senegal. He going to Guinea. He's in Guinea right now as we speak. He's in Guinea right now, right? It seems like he was stopping
Liberia soon.
Yeah, he was stopping Liberia. Yeah, I know. But let me say this. It seems like he's wrapping his head and he's moving around with these young leaders who he feel have some kind of like that same radical, forward-thinking approach that he has, and he's supporting them. I am waiting to see who President Boyka's first state visit will come from. I'm waiting to see that. I'm not holding my breath because I don't think I don't even think I know he went to Ivory Coast. It was a disaster because they tried to go big, the people to waive the money, and Ouattara told them and said, no, I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, this is we're gonna buckle up. This is gonna be a really, really, really rough ride. We have to buckle up. It's gonna be a tough ride. We're gonna be watching, right? Some people, I know a lot of my rescue friends right now, they are looking at things and they're like, I'm gonna let you sheen, you did something, you sheen, but you know how to say you did it, boy. But we told them, I'm not gonna rub it in anybody's face. We want Boyka to succeed. We pray that he succeed because at the end of the day, it is about our country. But I just want to say thank you guys. We look forward to joining you guys sometimes early next week or maybe Friday. I probably will hop on Friday so we can start pushing this thing. But Alex, it's good to see you. Lofa, Toga, it's great. Blada, it's good to see you joining us. I missed that fiery voice. You bring some controversial angles to the show. The other day I heard you talking about Russia and China. I said that boy better leave out with new Cold War. He was start. He better leave out. You and Alex Jones, the two Alex, I gave on the two of you. But it's great seeing you with it.
So send me when the good news drop, we'll do the scotch and the cigar, no problem.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
right.
no problem. Rabbi, I will see you. Tomalin, thank you for holding it down, gentlemen. We'll see.
Okay,
Thank
guys,
you.
look, let's make some
I
progress,
guess
man.
let me just quickly use this time. Why Alex was making the statement earlier about me being personal with him. Somebody text me and say, why are you fighting Alex? And guys, after the show, Alex will pick up his phone. After the show, Alex will pick up his phone and call me, and we'll talk in the back. So when you see Alex try to buy my sympathy, don't buy into that thing. Alex know exactly what he's doing. Don't fall for it, please. I'm just being honest with you guys. Don't fall for it, because Alex will be the person to call me on a Saturday morning and wants to talk politics. Some of you may not have the opportunity, so don't fall for Alex little way of trying to get away with the reality here. But let me say this though, with all in all honesty though, some of us at this point, we should not be supporting people because we want that close affiliation. It should not be the case for which we support individuals in politics. I think we should now look at the bigger picture. If I'm supporting Alex, like you, Alex, you said, when you support an individual, they don't even look at you as a peer, as their colleague. That should not be the reason why I support anybody in any political dispensation. My idea should be your competence, your ability to implement. That should be the reason why I should support you. Based on your ideology, I should see reason to support you because I believe that you can be successful at implementing what I expect of you. I shouldn't have to support Alex because Alex is my friend. I shouldn't have to support DeLon because DeLon can pick up the phone anytime and call Lofa and say, bro, let's talk. Okay, what's going on with you and your family? That should not be the basis on which I support anybody because at this point, we are at the bottom of the food chain. We need the best and the brightest to serve in certain capacity. So if we are focusing on those who are within our circle, then we are failing miserably because we will continue to recircle these failed politicians, these failed self-proclaimed educated people, these failed experienced individual who have worked all their lives in government and have nothing to show for it. And we will continue to bring in those who are seeking chances and not those who sincerely want change for Liberia. So I think our focus here, and Ellis, I'm responding to that statement because we deserve better. And we can do better if we are thinking and looking in a much more innovative manner. I think we can do this. Our generation cannot fail and will not fail Liberia. But if we don't change our thought process, we continue to focus on this clique. Everybody want to be rubbing arm and shoulder with people. I know this guy. I know that guy. We will not move Liberia forward because we will continue to use the same group of corrupt politicians, and then we will end up continuously going downward. So, and I just want to say that, and that's the reason why today, within
Lofa, you
right?
supported Darius DeLong, and you can't support me.
No, I didn't say I would not support. See, now you about to change the seat.
Yeah, but guys, guys, let me progress on a serious note, right? But on a serious note too, at the same time too, Lofa, I like what you're saying, but if, for instance, DeLong have done some positive, but you will not praise DeLong. He said one of the things that you gotta be objective.
No. Tomalin.
I come in now.
Right, go ahead.
Because I know you have a problem. You don't take it personal, politics personal. That's the reason why you see some of us go Liberia, we can be with the people on both sides. Because why? Like Robert hanging with everybody in Liberia. That's how you do it. You can't don't take it personal. You know, when somebody do the right thing, you give them the flowers. You know, that on a serious note. Meanwhile, Robert. Meanwhile, Johnny said he requested you to go for lunch in Liberia. You refused. He's not happy with you. Our man in the chat room, Johnny.
Yeah. So Johnny,
and then I come in, Robert.
I got to respond to that.
Meanwhile, while we're sitting here, you got Steve Warner just arrived in Ghana. I just heard why he can't go to Liberia. No, you got the prince. How do you call him? Prince, the prince of what the guy name? Prince what?
The Dukes and such as of the UK in Nigeria.
You gotta make Liberia tourism friendly so that people can. Robert, you guys
got Henry.
I thought you would.
No.
I come. You are the person to talk about the tourism issue with Liberia. Robert, you had an opportunity to be the president, and you did not make that push. I feel disappointed, Robert. But anyway, let's make progress, guys.
So let me respond to the DeLon issue, right?
Yeah, but 30 seconds, I'll beg you.
I'll give you 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, I'll be done. Yeah. We brought DeLon to permanence, and he was elected. We put our name and characters on the line. We will criticize DeLon tirelessly, effortlessly, until we can see him doing the right thing. Thus far, okay, few things that DeLon promised some of us that he would do. He is yet to do those things, and he continued to go in the wrong direction. One, he said he will fight for salary reduction. All he continued to do is grandstand about things that really don't matter at this point in time. That's one thing he lied about. DeLon lied profusely about that particular aspect, and he continued to behave as though he's a victim because he's an individual. But what he really wants people to know is that he's running some kind of a rehabilitation center. He would take to every radio station to highlight that part of his adventure at the Senate, as compared to say, I am fighting for the reduction of salary, and several other things we talk about. When you see me criticizing DeLon, it's not personal, but it's simply because we promised Liberians something, and we are failing on our promises. So those who were elected must be held accountable. That is why I will continue to hold him accountable.
Let me get my closing, and then I will just speak quickly.
Please specify which DeLon, yeah.
No, okay. That was DeLon, not your DeLon. No, you're my brother. You know, definitely not. You're my brother. But that's not what you would.
But listen, Tomalin, I think that I agree with you. politics.
Somebody just said, my man, the person on the trip, the person said, the man Robert, a big tourism man. The man, he one of the big
No,
people
Tomalin.
man.
But you know how I this is how I
push a John for the man Robert. And
this is how I see it, right? I see it as such as when it comes to speaking with the president. You know, I'm not one of those guys that will be so. I'm a laid back kind of guy. If we went out, I'm laid back. I'm not one of those guys that you see trying to impress people. You know, trying to be seen because I know what I bring to the table. So when people try to meet with the president and give that card, I saw a lot of things yesterday, boy. I tell you. Oh my gosh. I mean, the International Christian Fellowship was packed. And you know the funny thing about it was we were having Mother's Day service, and there's the thing. The president was given the opportunity to give a few words before leaving. And you know what happened?
Yeah.
While the president was leaving, the service was supposed to continue. You know what happened, my brother?
Everybody left.
So the question was, did you really come to church or did you come to meet with the president? It was crazy. But I think that if the president wants to have a serious conversation surrounding tourism, I think the president have got to be the one to pick up the phone to say, who do I need to start initiating conversations with based on my own vision? The president, look, the buck starts and ends with the president of Liberia. The president has a vision. Everything starts with him. We've been talking about tourism. And in fact, I have to say, many of the folks in his government have reached out to me. But the conversation have got to be initiated with the president. If the president and the foreign minister and those that surround him knew, look, you know who was also here, my brother? Our own sister Jackie was here. You know, Jackie was in the VIP.
I've been talking to Jackie. We've been talking.
Jackie was and I didn't meet her. I had no interest. I had some work to do at my office, and I came to work. I didn't have any interest in meeting with the. What conversations am I going to have with the president? If the president wants to have a conversation surrounding tourism, I'm open. Start initiate a conversation. Let's talk about tourism. Other than that, I have no interest in just meeting with the president for photo ops. It does nothing to me. What I will say, though, to what Lofa said, to your point, Tomalin, I think it's important for us to not burn bridges. Okay, there are people that I fundamentally don't agree with, like Dylan. I don't agree with Dylan. I don't hate the guy. I know one fact. I was at Truth FM not Truth FM, Jula Jai doing an interview. I was in the booth. Dylan was supposed to come after me, and Dylan opened the door, looked in the studio. Jula Jai's signaled to him where I'm doing an interview. Robert, he went back out. He sat out. When I came back out, he was entering, and the guy won't even shake my hand, and I just laughed. I thought it was funny. I didn't think it was that person. He won't shake my hand. I didn't extend for a handshake, and I kept it moving. Well, this guy don't want to shake my hand. It's okay. But for me personally, I don't take anything personal.
But Robert, hold on a second. How you knew that he wasn't going to shake your hand? If you didn't extend.
We met each other. Yeah, we came out.
So you wanted him to extend for the handshake?
I don't know who was supposed to extend. I don't know who was supposed to extend.
Okay, then don't complain about it. Then.
But you know what? But look, when you open the door,
you did not extend your hand. Maybe.
No, right, you did not extend your hand. He did not extend his hand.
When you open the door, I was trained, right? When you open the door and you walk into people, because you open the door, you walk in, you speak. How you guys doing?
Yeah, you speak.
So he opened the door and he walked in.
Yeah, but it was the method the mic was on, so that's why he did not speak.
Oh man, no, the man knew exactly what he was doing.
Talking Robert. You know, yesterday, let me just show you the Jugo I watched on yesterday. Yesterday, the former president we went to visit Isaac Doe's mother. So when he came outside, you know, and the president when he comes for that kind of visit, you interview him, you answer your question. The minute the guy said from Spoon, he said, and we said no comment. I said, buddy, you're feeling, you're insult this guy, you're in talk all the time about this man. Right. You're put back away from the man.
But
for me, let me get into
it. It's almost 12. So I wanted to speak to something quickly from my end. I wanted to speak.
Let me end in 30 seconds. Let me close in 30 seconds. So to your point, it's not personal. I think we should be very honest in our opinions about people, but respectful. It's not personal. Just because I think you're corrupt doesn't mean that I hate you, right? We can still talk about, is this is about our country? We can still be blatantly honest and still say, you know what, how you doing, and keep it moving. I don't have to don and want with you. But when I went to Liberia, like you said, I met with a lot of some of my closest friends are these Unity partisans. George Lobo, it's my brother. I met with a lot of different people, and so it's about our country, and let it continue to be about our country and not about hate. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where I met. But this trip was, I don't think, was necessary, and I hope that the president and those around him can really go back, reassess, and try to do the right thing moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Toga, because you in Liberia, you won't leave us. Yeah,
Yes.
Toga.
So that Lofa was saying. I think on this whole even Tyrus Delon situation, my issue has got to even do with sometimes the inconsistency. I think Lofa was being blunt by saying the lies and think, but I will talk about the inconsistency. You all know Delon was very emphatic about this whole thing. You think from the very beginning, he made it appear under the Wias administration that it was a terrible decision to go after tenure and all of that. Now, this government came, decision has been taken only up to last night. After there is tremendous public outcry on this matter. DeLong has sat in the legislature, said nothing about it. I think it was last night on one other show that DeLong was coming to say he's now frowning on Bouaka for the decision. Now, my issue with many of the people who are stakeholders in the country, who are actually policy makers in the country, is that you and myself cannot be activists at the same time. You can't be a lawmaker that got the power to invite key actors of the country and take some drastic decision. Then you be acting like you activate, let me say. You're a policy maker. Why should you sit there? The president takes armed men to the LTA to remove board of commissioners from their job. You said nothing about it. The public, I'm hearing even people in the diplomatic cycle are now angry and they are racing it with legislators. Why they are doing that, then you run on the air now to say you're angry with the president's decision. When did you realize that? So this kind of scheming and all kind of thing, the inconsistency, for me, that is my issue. You can't get to see the public taking a decision when the public is leaning one way before you join the public when the public leaning one way. When you know you supported this thing from the very beginning, because some of the guys that they just placed over there are your friends, and you push it. This is my issue. These are the problems I got with, like everybody's saying, not pressing up. But sometimes we just got to be serious with the way this country is run. If you want to be a lawmaker and take drastic decisions, even if you brought a government to power, you got to be straightforward and tell them what is wrong and what is wrong. You can't come 1 minute, you support an idea, few minutes later when you see the public taking another land, then you join the other side. These sort of attitudes that what got the country the way it has to stop.
Thank you. Willie Dillon?
Yes. So my closing statement is just that we have to take the governance of our country seriously, man. We have to look for the best and the brightest and make sure that those who have the skills, the mindset for growth and for progress are placed in the right position to where we can harness that and make sure we push the country forward. And that's not being done. But what I see now is just everything is being done from a political standpoint. Who helped get the president to where he is today, who helped finance the campaign, who knows who, and then they're getting these positions. But are they truly qualified? We don't see that. And that's how things have always been done. Those things were done that way during the two-week party days before we came to NDP up, before we came to NPP, before we got to even where we are today. It's always been done. They led to our country being underdeveloped. It led to civil chaos in the country, civil turmoil, and then at the end of the day, we find ourselves at the bottom of the barrel. So if at all we want to make definite progress, we have to be able to do things differently, and doing things just differently has to come about to, I mean, has to be done where we seek out competent people, We set real objectives and we strive to achieve them in a real and feasible, effective manner. If that's not being done, then we're back to the same 6 and 7, and that would not lead to progress. So then, why did we fight the Civil War? Why did we have the April 12th? Why did we do all these things? And at the end of the day, there has been no change. So please, things have to be done differently. We want to see the country move in the right direction. Let's put the right minds, people with the right drive to be able to move forward in the right direction.
Willie, before you leave, let me say this though. You know, every time I have the opportunity, I would say to our friends that look, we our generation, this is our last, I consider our last stand though, the 2029 election. So I know you're not into politics, but look, this time around, we all cannot sit on the fence. We all got to be involved. You got to come in with your expertise, your ideas, and your gifts that you have, and try to help the process. And I tell all our friends now, we should not take it for granted. 2029, we must ensure that this country, our country, Liberia, move in a different direction. We all got to get involved. All hands on deck. You know, like if you have any ideas, any kind of suggestion, maybe you can have. I think you're in the finance era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes,
we have a show just on the economy and our financial outlook of our country, and we invite people who will come and listen. You bring some ideas, and so we make the go forward, because you're talking to people in the government. They tell you, but for instance, people are watching you tonight. They may say, "Who's that guy?" You know. Then they want to hear more from you. You know, like somebody texted me. There's a critic. Person said, "Who is Alex Jones guy?" What the person said, the word they use. I come in. The word they use on Alex Jones. They said, I come in. Alex. The person said he intellectually what? He intellectually something is intellectually powerful. I mean, people watching from all angles. And I told the person, I say he's a controversial political guy. I told the person, I say the guy is controversial though. Depending on which side he wakes up on the bed, like that. But honestly, Ellis bring a lot to it too. Just that maybe the way in which you were presented, people will not be happy. But you gotta be blunt, you know. So, Willie, I mean, I appreciate you, man. And if you have any ideas, any thoughts, bring it forward. Say, look, let's have this. They have a show on this. We're willing to do it. The platform is there. We are live on the radio on 2 major stations, Hard FM and Truth FM, on YouTube. And important people follow this show. You won't believe it until you go out and people start telling you, watch the show and so forth. Like right now, somebody told me, say, look, you guys got to bring somebody who is a strong UP person. And I know I will Jackie and come back to kind of defend the UP still, you know, because for me, I'm in the middle. I'm not for no party right now. I'm for Liberia right now. I want to make sure Liberia is the best.
Like me, right?
But Alex Jones, it's always a pleasure to have you, man. And don't be a stranger yet. Always come forward, man. Thank you so much.
You
Can
know,
I
tell me,
All right, guys.
comment?
like I always say to these guys, DeLon, Carter, Emmerich, and all of them. I remind them all the time, this fight is not for an individual. It's a group fight. All of us must take on that responsibility. And that's the reason why when DeLon and I, sometimes I call him while he's at work. I'm like, dude, come on the show. Give us your view, especially when it comes to the issue of finance. I will call DeLon. I call Carter. I remember the other time Carter was I think he was in South Africa on his vacation. And then I reach out to him and say, hey, guys, we need you guys to come on the show. Give us your view. This is your area. And these are some of the things that we need to start to, adventure into. Let us start utilizing people based on their expertise and not just simply based on the, just being comrades and this friendship and all of those things. So whenever people are discussing finance, the first person I reach out to is DeLon, because I know DeLon's in finance and not just on the surface finance. He is heavily into it. Carter, all right, Emmerich and Alex and other people. So I think we need to start doing these things and start taking advantage of people experience and their expertise so that we can move Liberia forward. But like Tomalin said, Willie, I always call you DeLon, but Tomalin said, feel welcome every time. Be a part of the conversation and don't shy away from it, because some of us, we were not politicians. We are not politicians, but I think the tax is upon us now to move Liberia forward. We cannot shy away from it. We must take on the mantle of authority to make sure that what happened with our parents' generation is not repeated. So you and I should be held accountable for anything after us. Our kids should not have to go through what we're going through today. So yeah, I think it was a great show. I will stop at that point and say thanks to
Yeah,
our
but I
audience.
would say that Alex has not haven't had any closing comments, man. I want to hear what Alex got to say.
All
He's
right.
gonna talk. He's gonna talk about me. Why should we give him the chance?
Absolutely. Well, I'll be very brief, gentlemen. And
Good.
you see the difference between the newer generation, the millennials, and the older generation. As Lofa said, we can disagree politically, heatedly on this argument. And then 2 hours later, we can be on the phone talking or having a drink together. The older generation, the broadcaster, you disagree with them 1 minute, that's a life enemy. Even when you disagree on substance, I never say I don't like Weah or I don't like Parker. I never personally attack him or his family. I just start attacking his policy and his ability or inabilities. So that's the difference. And that's why Liberians, we need to start to think about how we can get this generation to lead this country into the 21st century. So when I see young people going after supporting old people, and you guys, my friends, the Dwalu, all of us, the Dillon, and you say you haven't heard Dillon. Dillon is a key member on my policy team. You just don't know that. Most of the things you see me talking here about economics, cash transfer to people, Dillon is instrumental in that. So I do reach out to, other people, smart people, that even smarter than me. And that's what the government and the people today in the political parties, they will never do, because they want to take all the credit. They want to say, "Oh, I'm the boss man." Now, I'll leave with this closing comment. Malema said once, he said he's going to be president of South Africa, and the sooner you get to believe that, the less chest pains the people will have. I'm going to be president of Liberia. So whether you believe that now or later, I'm going to be president of that country. And I can tell you guys, my number one focus is to grow the economy, to make it work for ordinary young men and women, to make sure that our economy is better than Haiti. Haiti is in war. It's controlled by gangster. Their GDP is 20 billion. That's a disgrace to us. We're not even in war. 21 years. And we can't
With
get
no
5
natural
billion.
resources,
My job,
no,
my
all
job
any of natural
is to
resources.
recruit. Yes. My job is to make sure I work with all you guys. And another thing, nothing is personal. If any minister, any Liberian president, and that's what as president I will do, I reach out to my opposition. I will reach out to my critics, because my critics can show me more than what I know. I don't want my supporters. If you already support me, why am I listening to you? So, Tomalin, you before you got to know me and started to work, invite me on the show and stuff, I had some questions about your media, and I voiced those questions on, and you have made sure to curl those concerns. That's what a leader would do. So nothing here is criticizing people just because you don't. We all are Liberians, but I, as a leader, I have a greater responsibility. Unfortunately, I can't be like you, Timothy. I had to uphold myself and my standard so that the Liberian people in 2029 can see somebody, that is serious about change in this country. Thank you, guys.
Okay, Kev, your man still not asking for you. Still not asking for you, Kev. You may miss you, but anyway, guys. But let me say this though. I hope you'll be here for this one. I'm about to say, Dylan. The budget I was just the president. I hear he haven't signed it yet. When he get back, he will sign the budget. But there's something in that budget that I was happy about. Usually lawmakers then have been asking to put in to give them money for legislative projects. But I would commend the speaker for this, though. The speakers refused. I think he objected to that. Instead of then giving the people money to do legislative projects, he said it should be John Chu, the Liberian, the Community Empowerment Agency, LACE, that will be audited, that will be monitored, having oversight by the legislature, and will be audited by the GAC. Yeah, so I don't know. When we have a nice show, we'll talk about it so you guys can express whether it's a good idea. I support it. Instead of putting money in lawmakers' hand, they tell you they have their own projects, then the money, what happened. But I commend Speaker Kofa for that.
Yeah.
I think that we should We should look at it seriously. And the time of putting money in lawmakers' hands is over, man. You can't be putting money in people's hands and so forth. So we hope that it will change.
Stanton, what's up, bro? When you coming on for the interview, bro?
Lofa, you see, still not showing peace to you, buddy.
Hey, but Stanton, I never had anything. What do you mean showing peace? You see your problem? You want to solve problems between me and man? We never.
No, but Ben still not on his birthday, man. Kev, we had a nice time with him, but our buddy, man, But guys,
stand up because Stanton only brings Unity Party people, only people who fear the government. So I have listed his station.
No,
I'm gonna have to
change that.
Open his
He can change that, and then he change that and bring balanced people, independent people. Then I will maintain my.
Reach out to the man. If you're a panelist,
I'm sure you. I say you appear.
You can't be like Darius Dillon now. What Robert said: when you enter the door, you gotta speak to everybody that in the place, not only one or two people. So please. You know what I mean? Go ahead and speak to everybody.
Well, guys, look, let's put Liberia first, man. Look, let's make it happen.
But totally,
it's a must. Liberians we should all be involved. Don't matter you say, oh, I'm not part of that thing. I'm into politics. No, you gotta get involved because if we don't do it,
that's true.
Trust me, guys. When the time comes, we'll say, well, we'll regret it. We blunder, So let us get involved. Yeah, that's true.
Liberia belongs to all of us.
Everybody get involved.
Liberia belongs to all of us. Yeah, I fully agree. And you guys just reach out to me. Reach out to me whenever you guys are having the next.
I'll tell you a gift. I'll say a gift. I'll say. It coming, brother. It coming.
Going to CEO of CEOs.
Remember that name, man. It's CEO. Huh?
But it was a good show, guys. I think
people
are coming. Oh, go ahead, Peabody. Go ahead.
Stanton, good for hanging out. Stanton. Go ahead, Tito. Sorry for your interrupting.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say people are complaining about contributing to the conversation, not taking calls. So hopefully we can incorporate that in the process. Sometimes people really want to speak.
Yeah, but the party can talk too long. When they talk,
so we need. But you're the moderator. You're the lead moderator.
No, but when you stop it there, the person will can't talk. When you say this,
but that's why you need to take control of it. I mean, if you say no, your time is up. Your time is up. You see, when Keff Hassan is doing it, even though he kind of go across his way of doing it, but when he says no, he's done. No, it's no.
You tell people say everybody's speaking in a special time, and then they will go
in a special time.
Yeah, but. Guys, I think we need to arrange to take some calls, like even if it's 10 minutes. Even if it's 10 minutes, let's do it. Thank you. Let's do it. Take some calls.
Let's start taking calls. They incorporate the audience in the conversation, so they're not just spectators, like President Weah said. We don't want to keep them just as just mere spectators. I'm pretty sure not too many people will call. But there are folks who will frequently call because they want to be heard as well. So I think we should give them the opportunity, so that way we can make the show a little bit more diverse. I mean, it is already though, but we can do better.
What Ruth said?
Listen now. Somebody said, "Glad to see you talking and having fun." We talk all along. There's Liberian people that are saying their own thing, but we in Stanton have been very cool. We talk behind the scene. And we have been cool. We have never ever had any issue like that.
On my birthday we talk, and he called me. We talk. She sent me a message on her birthday. I did the same thing. So I mean, people don't understand, but things happen, but politics.
Yeah, Liberian people just escalate things, make it happen. But we always been cool. We have never ever not spoken to each other. We always talk and stuff like that.
Ellis Jones, I'm still thinking what I would support Ellis Jones presidential bid. I don't know. I hope he will, because we'll have a primary. We'll have that. What are you gonna do in America? The primary, right? We'll have that primary. Go from county to county and see whether if Ellis is not a candidate to carry, we'll find somebody, the person who get the most votes will carry the person.
But hold on though, Tomalin.
Yeah.
How is it that how can I support Alex when the in the middle of the election, Alex said if somebody offered me a finance minister job, I would take it. And then you forget about the president. How am I supposed to support you again?
No, I didn't say that. Judge
Yes,
Lofa
you
Julius, when did I say that?
doing an interview. The record is right there.
You bring that interview. That's not correct. I never
I will
said
bring
that.
I can
The
bring
question was, that's why I said,
Uh-huh.
Lofa Julius, you're good.
Yeah, as it do.
The question was, if I do not win,
the boy said, "Oh yeah."
Well, as it will have a
Second
joint
round.
person
Hold on now.
argument for relax.
Yeah,
We have
yeah,
that
yeah,
show.
show.
Very
So you see,
I said no.
Lofa,
That's
you're not
the
gonna get me. If I do not win the election in the second round, and if I was all for opposition, and I said I work for
You got
any
it, left
Liberian
with you.
government, contribute my time and effort. So go back and do your research. But Dr. Peabody, I mean, I got to know you. I got to know you. Don't worry, Lofa Julius gonna be my press secretary soon in 2029. Don't worry, I will work on you. But I mean, Dr. Peabody, I just want to say this. I never gotten to know you.
No. Julius said you block her, on black killer, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Julius. Yeah.
Who did I block?
Go ahead.
Alex, that was
Alex, go ahead.
I was saying that Dr. Peabody, I've gotten to listen to you. My respect for people, I mean, my philosophy is, I don't respect anybody because you're in position, you're rich, you're poor. I respect you on the positions that you take. Okay? If you take the right position, the moral position, meaning when somebody is wrong, you can call it out. Somebody is right, you can call it out. I don't care whether you're a sweeper or you're a CEO. You're my guy. And I have listened to you consistently. You've been very, very objective, even during the WIA administration. And so I'm surprised people like you guys are not giving opportunity in Liberia. There's so much to build in our country that everybody who even the 8th grade student in Liberia, nobody should be in America yet working in Liberia.
Alice, why you don't like me, man?
I already
dope.
You're a very diplomatic guy. You're a very diplomatic guy. And I think you're a smart man. You earn your PhD. I can say that.
No.
Always a pleasure here. So I still moving on the Peabody. I still moving on the Peabody. I know he too good yet. I still waiting up, but for you, I can say clearly.
My PhD, that free PhD.
It don't matter.
No. But Dr. Peabody, here's my thing though. You said Azado should come on here. For Azado to come on here, he needs to bring us what was changed at the youth and sports. The fact that he left us here and went to Liberia to work at youth and sports. We need to see what was changed at the that
exactly.
Azado and Abu were cool, very cool until Azado became minister. As a way we say hi to me no more, but we had that conversation. Matter of fact, we were in the same group together. As a way, now you can't really say hi to me. I'm like, oh, I thought we were family. But you know what?
We have visited Azado.
Yeah. I know what we said.
I said what happened. So I just said.
I know you were here. Did you see it?
Yeah, I see person. We are me, man. I said correct.
But look at the same guy with my sister. The same partner I got with my sister. Me and Sarah Yendi were very cool. Very, when she was in the poor, she was in Europe. We're very friends. You become president, you get secretary of state that I can't get no call for you. Then it's the same thing. Keep your friends, whether you're in politics or not.
Well, I heard the party. I heard the party not Easter in Atlanta. It was not Easter yesterday. You saw John Lower birthday party?
Oh yeah, maybe the man having fun. Your country been rescued, man. I'm rescued.
The one where he was standing on the table.
The boy that have 5 kids and a beer sitting like right in front of them.
You see, you're explain Tayo.
Okay,
yeah,
I gotta run.
You guys have a good night, man. I'm out.
Okay. Right. Presidential candidate, the first man to announce his candidate is Alex Chuchu Jones.
Alex Chuchu Jones. Alex will be president of that country. Alex got great vision.
Let's see if we hire him as a finance minister, if he will still continue to pursue the presidency. We'll see.
Get a help. Alex got somebody to call it away. Hey, he don't call it.
Oh, like the one guy, right? George Family, the man got good politics for like brother. But one thing I agree with him for himself. He become president every Friday. every Friday that hang in there, you corrupt, he will hang you. I said, no, that one, I can't take that one. He said, when you hang 200 people there, they will start corruption in that country. I said, no, that one, I can't support you. He got good vision on that bureau, but the man said, we hang people every Friday for corruption, they will stop that thing. I said,
Look how I made Manuel Yato.
oh, yeah.
Oh
Yato.
yeah.
That guy's a hard worker, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yato. Yato talk. We talked last time. We talk a lot. We talk, and Yato is he having a consultancy now. He went back to it, and he will do his best. You know, Juman Jala. Yeah. So
Juman Jala, your man, Julia, Gempo.
Oh, the Gempo, eh?
No.
Julia, you know, Julia Akile. For Jamaica to Calabash, that's a new Liberia. Oh,
that's new rescue.
Oh yeah.
You know you forget your man, eh?
Oh, that you think that for Liberia come for Jamaica, they in Calabash now.
Oh yeah, yeah, Jamaica.
Liberia, no more Liberia in Jamaica or Liberia in Calabash. They gotta have 10 cans of beer. You put on.
No, I gotta enjoy you.
Yeah, very John.
Well, no, the rescue in Liberia real good. The rescue.
John never stood up. You aware? All right. And I'm going to do it too. You know, I put time.
No, I blame. I mean, definitely, I don't blame him, man. I mean, this is what it is.
After hard work.
You said that's how it works.
I said, do. Y'all call me. I said, do y'all kind of show.
No, but
the CEO of CEOs. You know that name? You know who gave it? You know who gave that name?
About it.
I gave that name, the CEO of CEOs.
Don't talk why when you said that way me, don't talk that one.
Yeah.
He said the CEO of CEOs.
Yeah.
And over there. Oh, not a video there.
Yeah.
Now where's so?
Calabash.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
What puffing it up.
Assistant Johnson all there. Oh, they gotta have fun, eh?
Yeah. Oh, he said, oh, they gotta.
All right. He's the bottom, but the bottom ran high campaign.
I mean,
the bottom ran high campaign. So, yeah.
rescue the boy.
Look, I'm done.
When Eugene number one ehele chicken, everybody on him. Let's go. My man, we gotta go. I gotta go, guys.
All right, man. Good night, guys.
I'll see you guys Wednesday, man. Nice show,
everybody. See you. Good to see you, Stanton. Welcome, man. I said, do. God bless all of you guys.
Yeah, I should do it. Thanks for you guys, man. One love.
One love, brother. Well done. Bye-bye.